What is up? Welcome back. It's Friday night, Christmas Eve, and you're here with the Average Boys Podcast. It's your boy Crispy, and I'm here with Brian D. Brian, what is going on? How are we doing, my dude?
Yo, what's going on, Chris? How's everything been with you, man? How was your week, man?
Solid stuff, man. Solid stuff. Christmas week. A lot of family stuff. A lot of people getting out there, getting to the malls and doing store stuff. Just getting ready. What's
Are you
crazy is what's the weather like where you're at?
the weather? It's been kind of crappy. It's been dreary, been snowing, it's been cold, then it's been warm, so it's been just like all over the place.
All over the place.
I will say one thing though, this coronavirus is kicking people's asses, bro. Like
Wow.
I know so many people that have caught COVID in the past week, and I know like especially a few people that have to be quarantined from their families like for Christmas.
Mhm.
So this shit is getting like really crazy over here. Like the new variant isn't really putting people on their ass, but I know a lot of people that are having to quarantine and be away from their families this weekend, which
That,
totally sucks.
that's nuts, man. That's nuts. Well, us down here, the weather's been like 70, 80, like
Hmm.
this entire time. No fucking cold weather, really. Maybe like a night of weather, maybe. But yeah, same thing. A lot of people getting sick, a lot of people testing positive for some type of variant of corona. I just don't know if like the regular flu would kind of test positive also, because I know that this would technically also be flu season, right? So like maybe we can kind of like chalk it up that they're probably the numbers might be the same between my actually, you know what? As a matter of fact, my brother-in-law has coronavirus right now. He just got it like 2 days ago, which is my sister's husband. They just got married. That was the wedding that we went to like the other day. He got
Yeah.
sick. I don't really know how. We're figuring that it was they did the graduation. He got his master's, and
Hmm.
they did, of course, the graduation ceremony for the college, and everybody was all out there and stuff like that. But my sister and her husband both have their boosters and their vaccines and all that stuff. So I think they're going to be all right. I think they'll be pretty solid. But yeah, I hear a lot of people are coming down with some really bad stuff, and a lot of people are testing positive for the new variants. So I don't know, man. Uh, do we think that 2022 is going to be as vulgar as 2021? What do you think?
I mean, we probably thought in at the end of 2020 that 2021 wouldn't be so bad, but here we are. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
no.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to the question. I don't want to sound bleak, but I mean, like we're 2 years in, and over here we're still getting record highs. So I don't know. I don't
Are
know.
there over there in your area? Are there a lot more people like, of course, not wearing masks and being out in the open, kind of like the way it is down here?
No.
Or is everybody still pretty like hardcore about?
Everyone's still being, I mean, as far as I know, everyone's being masked up. I mean, it is starting to get lax. I do go to like the corner stores. I go to the stores and I see people that, they don't have their mask on or whatever, but I'm assuming they're vaccinated. But that, and I'm not even speaking from the aspect of people being like deathly sick. I'm just saying like there's a lot of people that are away from their families
Oh,
on
during this
Christmas.
time, of course, yeah.
On
Like
Christmas,
that's
like
there. My
that's
brother-in-law,
crazy.
he's quarantined right now. It's for and he just got it like 2 days ago. Like so, he's gonna
Yeah,
have to
so
quarantine out for like the 14th.
is he gonna be like with his family for the
No, no, no.
holiday?
Like
Or
they're already separated. Like they're already like he's quarantined out. My sister's with the baby. Like they're already doing their quarantine stuff, and I know it's gonna be rough because this is gonna be their first Christmas with their son, and of course, like now Andrew, my stepbrother or my brother-in-law, is not going to be able to be there with him for his first Christmas. You know what I mean? Like it's a really just crazy time that we're living in, man. Because there's moments like, okay, so like down here, smaller population, a lot more people are a lot more lax down here. And
mhm.
I think you remember when you came down that it was pretty chill. It was pretty chill. So a lot less people wearing masks, a lot more people congregating. I mean, dude, we even see it like in the UFC fights. Like there's just people shoulder to shoulder, football games and basketball games shoulder to shoulder, like people are out there, man. Like people are out there doing things, and I just I really hope the numbers I hope they dwindle in 2022, man, and I hope everything starts getting its ass back to normal because I am so fucking so done with all this stuff, man.
So you say that, but like again, it's kind of you go to you go to the store and you don't see people wearing masks. You don't see people quarantine. You don't see people like social distancing. So how is it that you see that happening?
Well, I mean, with the aspect of it, the numbers here in the valley, I mean, they've gone down like, pretty drastically in the last couple months. And the cases of death like have gone down dramatically also, as the aspect of people like not wearing masks and going out and stuff like that too. Of course, we can't not take into consideration that there is some type of media jargon to create stories so that it becomes more of like, because big pharma still wants to make cash in a way, right? So they have to have this story, this narrative that makes sure that people are still kind of like, more minded to the idea that it's not normal, it's not better, keep doing this, keep doing that, yeah. For myself, like I still haven't gotten a booster. I haven't gotten my vaccination shots. I did get the virus once already, which was at the very, very beginning, and pulled through. I did the show with us. You remember when I was sick, and
Mhm.
yeah, I still go to work. I still do all my stuff at the gym. Like I'll wear a mask when I go to like the supermarket, but when I go somewhere normal, like to my gym or something like that, I don't really wear my mask. So, and the way it is down here, like, dude, we went to the mall today, and there was like maybe 30% of people wearing the masks. And you know what's even crazier than that is we live in an area that's a international hotspot because we're right on the border of Mexico. So a lot of people from Mexico come over a lot. Most of the time, those people that are coming over are the ones that are wearing their masks and being a little bit more concerned because of the international travel restrictions. But I would say more like the workers at the mall are the ones wearing masks more. I really don't go out too much like that. I don't go to the mall. Man, I never go to the mall. Never go to the mall. I literally just gave my best friend a ride to the mall because that's where they work. So I was like, that's the only reason why I went. But
Mm.
yeah, it's very lax down here, man. So I can't really leave a comment on. I haven't watched the news on the vaccine stuff in a while. I just got so disheartened by it that it's just constantly like just living in a constant state of anxiety and fear and all this other stuff and just stress and stuff like that. I have enough of that already just trying to make money to make bills, much less that every day on the media.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know it's huge difference between what you guys are going through compared to us.
I don't even think that's the case. I think it's like if it isn't like this all over the place, it will be considering what they're saying about this new variant is that how highly contagious and even more contagious than the last variant. So it's one of those things where I'm kind of like you. I don't really engage in certain propaganda.
Yeah.
Um but there's one thing with believing the propaganda and there's another thing with having like 6 of your friends that can't be around their families for Christmas. You can't deny that. That's not
Oh,
propaganda.
definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's one thing for me to think one thing, and then it's another thing for me to read on Facebook or Instagram that they have to quarantine. So it's not like I'm taking the news's answer for this. I'm actually seeing people that are being affected by this.
Oh,
So it's
definitely.
one so it's like it's kind of tricky. And I've never experienced that. I've never experienced that many of my friends being affected by this at one time. So if it's like that over here in New Jersey, mind you, we're not even in New York, but we're in New Jersey.
Yeah.
If it's like that over here, it's only going to be a matter of time before it'll get like that all over the place. I'm assuming. But
And would you consider the area that you're in and the people that you live close to or the people that you know, your friends, in a densely populated area, or is it kind of like a little bit more aired out, a little bit more open? Like, what would it be considered? Because I know like New York would be like highly dense, right?
yeah, it's not as I wouldn't say it's as highly concentrated
Yeah, yeah.
as New York, but I mean it's honestly I would say that it's probably the same about where you live.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I've seen, the you guys have apartment complexes. You guys
Mhm.
have houses close together.
Mhm.
It's not like you guys are all in the country. You guys are closely to it's called a valley, but you guys are kind of like you guys are close together.
Yeah, no,
So
no,
it's
no.
like
There are condensed areas that we live
yeah.
in, and there are a lot of places that people. What's very crazy is like since our area is very like yeah, I guess it's country in a way, but it's just that there's always a specific places that we congregate.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you got to see the mall, and the mall is like one of the most congested areas in the entire valley because it's the best mall in the neighboring cities. So like
Yeah.
if you were to combine the entire valley together, it'd practically be the entire size of San Antonio, practically, I guess. So all of the people usually congregate in McAllen.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of like, and I, you know what? And I would not doubt it that the numbers are probably the highest in that area. When if it does come to the number base, like McAllen's probably the biggest one because that's where everybody congregates. That's where all the shops are. That's where the shopping district is. That's where the population district is. That's where the event entertainment district is. Everything collaborates in McAllen.
Hmm.
But like I said, I'm not really up on the news right now in my local area, so I can't really give solid numbers. But yeah, man. The only thing that like I said earlier that always like catches my ear about it is I just I never hear of just the flu anymore. And I know it's flu season also. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. I just never know. And then of course like uh, we've had bad testing this year too where people were giving tests that were faulty, that weren't doing correct stuff. All I'm asking is there a possibility that numbers from the flu and the possibility that the flu numbers can be causing numbers to look different because it correlates almost exactly like the way the coronavirus has its symptoms and stuff. Do you think
I'm
that's a
not
thing?
I'm not a doctor. I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
In order for me to say that, I would have to say that there's kind of like a conspiracy or that
Yeah, of
there's
course.
or they
Yeah,
don't
there's
know or they don't know what they're doing. So in one sense you're telling me to trust science, and in another sense you're telling me that they're stupid and that they're confusing it with the flu. So I don't
well,
know like
I don't me myself personally, I don't trust big pharma.
okay.
That's
But
just what
that's
that's
not
just
big
me though.
pharma. This isn't big pharma though. This is like your doctors and the city MDs. This isn't big pharma that are prescribing the vaccinations or
Well, yeah,
whatever.
yeah, the Pfizer, Moderna, you look at,
They're
Johnson&
the ones
Johnson.
giving the reports on who's getting the
Well, it
coronavirus as
would be
opposed
what
to the flu.
what is that, the World Health Organization, the WHO, right? Or is
Yeah.
that would be them, and, yeah, in that agenda when it comes to it, big pharma is a big backer of politics. It's always has been since the 80s, 70s, 60s. It's always been in there.
Okay.
It you know,
I just think it's kind of contradictory for me in one sense to say I believe in science, and then for me to say, well, science is telling me lies. So I don't know. I really am at a point at this point where I don't know. I don't
I
know.
just don't know anymore. Yeah, like, I'm in the
And
same
that's
boat,
fine.
like, I'm a
There's nothing
conspiracy guy.
yeah, and me too, but when it comes to this, there's nothing wrong with just saying that we don't know. We don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Oh, dude, I'm
We don't know what they're
100%.
doing. We don't
That's why I never try to act like I know. I just think it sucks, and I just have questions, but I can never just find the questions. You know what's real crazy is Triggs just hit me up. Trigger is talking about, do we have room for one more? What's up? You want to bring Trigger?
Yeah, man. Why not? Yeah,
Yeah. Let me get Trigger in here. That would be so cool.
we can
Let me
ask
get
him.
let me get this.
We can ask him about the coronavirus.
Yeah. Let me send him the link. Let me get him in here. I think he should be all set up, and then we'll definitely bring him in because we got some cool talking points today. Of course, we're going to be talking about Spider-Man, the numbers of Spider-Man. You brought up a really really good topic that we want to talk about, which is very very cool, which is I'm really excited for. Hawkeye, of course, we're going to be talking about, and then of course we're going to be talking about the Matrix. Here we go. We got the man, the myth, the legend. You love him, you hate him, you love to hate him. We got the man, the myth, Triggs. What is up, my dude?
What's going on, guys?
Yo,
Hey, what's up? How's it
How
going?
we
How's it going?
doing?
How's your week going so far, Triggs?
Bro, tired, man. Tired. Preparing for yet again another move, right? Like what's new when it comes to me? Always moving. That and man, just always that Dragon Warrior, man. I'm there, like, man, then after a while they're gonna have to start charging my ass rent, brother.
Hey man, you guys are doing some amazing stuff at the noodle shop, man. I've been watching.
Yeah, man,
I remember we were talking about it, right? I told Brian, remember I talked to you about it last week that they're doing some really cool stuff.
yeah, you did, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, man, we're
How'd you get over on a Friday, dude? Would you?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of wondering.
We closed
Give it.
early because it's Christmas Eve, so
the holidays.
yeah.
I was thinking maybe like a tug job had to be involved or something, a little favor, a little
circle
favor,
jerk.
little bathroom favor somewhere. I don't know.
Any other day that probably would have,
Maybe
that probably would have been the case.
That's hilarious, dude. That's hilarious. But it's good to see you, Triggs, man. It's been a long, long time.
Yeah, man.
What a cool ass week. What a very, very cool week. We got some very, very cool things. We'll jump into our first discussion. Brian, you brought this up. I know you like hearing this stuff because it's such cool stuff. Tell me about what we got for Spider-Man, man. Tell me about the awesomeness that happened.
We're jumping right into it. So the box office numbers that they have just demolished all the numbers. But before we even jump into that, Triggs, we have the people, the mass, they have not heard your review of Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah,
man.
So let's jump into that before we jump into the numbers. I want to know your thoughts.
So to kind of hit sort of on the box office, subject already, but also to give my review. So I mean, I loved it. 10 out of 10. I loved every second of it. It was super duper entertaining. Were there plot holes? Of course. But I attribute that to there just being so much to pack in to 2.5 hours, right? Like you have lores from 3 different, separate universes to pack into a single place and then not leave plot holes. I mean, that's hard for anybody, right? But like I told, Brian earlier this week, I was like, one of my biggest things, and I think a lot of people was Electro. Like, homie went from Urkel to Tupac real quick. And I was just like, what? Okay.
But
that might have, that might not, Disney might have not had any say so in that. I don't
Probably
think.
not.
Yeah, I don't think Jamie Foxx is like, bro, I'm coming back to play that same Electro, bro. You're gonna have me.
But what
you're gonna have me.
But was it good or bad? What'd you all think? I thought it was amazing. I
liked it.
I loved it.
That should have been the Electro from the beginning.
And this is to kind of give Brian some I know triggers racist ammo, but I was like, bro, I thought it felt so token. So token a little.
Token?
Yeah, the token black guy, I guess that's what I do. And so I was like, all right, man, whatever. Fuck it.
But I wonder if it was a choice by Jamie Foxx or the
it probably was. I bet you he was like that was like a sub clause in his contract. Like if I agree to do this, I am not playing that character.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I mean, we can all safely agree that the character that he portrayed in the other movie was a little bit far-fetched silly. It was very comically silly.
Thus I say token. Thus I say token.
Where this one, he got Timlins and he's just all street and shit like that.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's Jamie Foxx though. That's him. In a real natural essence. He just came out and he just did his thing and man, he knocked it out of the park. I wanted to see a whole movie. Dude.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong, dude. I loved every one of the villains, right? Every single one of them.
His punchline.
I had no real complaints with the movie at all. The only thing that like kind of like also kind of threw me for a loop was that like no matter how much Spider-Man beat the shit out of Green Goblin, homie did not bleed once.
Yeah.
And all I could think of was Ben Stiller. Nobody makes me bleed my
Nobody
own
makes me
blood.
bleed my own blood.
I was like,
Yeah,
all right,
that's
dude, I
fucking
guess.
fair.
But yeah, I mean that like yet again like gripe number 2, and that being this big in the overall scape of that which was No Way Home. A No Way Home was a beautiful movie. It was I think Rob Jefferson kind of hit it on the nose when he said, I think the trilogy of like the MCU Spider-Man is his origin story, and what you're getting is like the actual continuation of like who Peter Parker really is, the loner who sells his photos to the Daily Bugle, of Spider-Man. Not everyone I think is okay with that, and I don't blame them. The post-credit scenes to me were a little bit lacking.
The Doctor Strange one?
I didn't like the Doctor Strange one, but mostly I know, right? But mostly because like of the whole evil Doctor Strange, I was like, ugh, this fucking guy again.
And that's what everybody's excited for, right?
I
Like,
I know. And for me, I'm kind of just like
before that, me and Brian talked about this because Brian had to correct me because I didn't even know they did this. Who's the green monster with the tentacles?
Shumagorath.
Brian, tell him, Brian, break his heart. It's okay. I'll let you do it.
It's not Shumagorath. Now, I mean, in Chris's case, they say that he says that it might be a swerve.
Yeah, I think it's
but I don't think it's a swerve. If you look at the toy that came out that actually showed.
Remember we talked about this when it came out, the Lego toy.
Yeah.
The Lego toy, it actually doesn't say Shumagorath. It says, what's his name? Giganto. Yeah, Giganto, some shit like that. That's going to be
okay. So they're saying that it's the Submariner tentacle monster.
Yeah, it's not
like one of the old school Marvel monsters. It's not Shumagorath.
It's not Shumagorath.
But I'm calling bullshit on that, and the reason why
I don't think so.
Shumagorath has some wicked ass eyelashes, dude.
No, because listen,
for me, I think it's an avatar of Shumagorath. I don't think it's like the Shumagorath.
Remember we talked about that, right, Brian?
Because Shumagorath comes in avatars. There's only been like 3 instances in like his entire publication where Shumagorath has 100% physically entered 100%. Everything else you see is just an avatar of him.
So this is my thing. Being that I'm of the theory that Wanda is the big bad, there's no way I can believe that they're gonna bring in Shumagorath and then have him just be a sub villain or a background villain.
I personally think you have it the other way around, brother. I think Shuma is the actual big bad, and Wanda is that like Duro antagonist, the like underlying villain. Because I have a feeling she's going to be like, well, I did this for this reason, and that's too fucking bad. And Steven is gonna be like, well, you can't do that, and she's gonna be like, well, then fucking stop me.
Yeah, it's gonna be almost like the WandaVision. Is that what you're saying? Like,
kind of, but like, because but a little bit more direct this time.
Was a very like selfish ordeal, and she still punished and tortured all of these people because she was trying to get her way. Is that what you mean?
Kind of, but it's more of like I'm gonna do things my way because I know they'll work, as opposed to like Steven being like, we should do it because I know it'll work this way. Like, this is a little outside your wheelhouse, and she's gonna be like, well, I'm the one with the powers. So
yeah, and she was directly told that she has more power
than the Sorcerer
Supreme.
Yeah.
So who the fuck are you to tell me anything, bro?
Exactly.
I'm stronger.
Yeah, that's kind of. I agree with Brian.
She is going to take everyone in this movie, bro. I'm telling you,
she's gonna be like,
she's going to take everyone.
I also have a theory, and I told Brian about this, and I showed him the reference and the resource during the week. I believe that Wanda technically is possessed by Lore, which is the multi-dimensional Nexus version of Wanda.
Yeah.
And she's the one that came to her as the original Scarlet Witch in the Crystal. So in the show, when she comes out and she's first with Hydra and they're introducing them to the Crystal, she's visited by the complete like Scarlet Witch character. And I think that's actually Lure, which is a villainous version of her that's multidimensional, and she is being used by Shuma Gorath.
Okay.
And then Shuma Gorath, since he's a multiple, like he's almost like a Galactus, where he feeds on different dimensions, he needs to find easier ways to go through them, and that's why he's going after what's her face, America Chavez.
America Chavez.
Because she has the power to open portals, but you're gonna find out that Shuma Gorath was the one that destroyed the Utopian planet, and that's where she came from. So you're gonna find out that yes, Wanda's the villain, but she's under or possessed by Shuma Gorath, and then when it's too late, she's gonna be like, "Oh God, I fucked up." And then they're gonna kind of work together at the end.
I kind of want to believe that, but the reason that like I kind of have a small time believing that is because like my thing is that like okay, we kind of have the groundwork for like what's going on, right? We saw it in WandaVision. She essentially like fucks with the multiverse, right? We see it in Loki. The multiverse cracks. We see it in No Way Home that it is beyond splintered now, and that now in Doctor Strange, you know, Multiverse of Madness, there's going to be a correction of some sort, right? Where exactly does America Chavez now fit into all this? I mean, I know exactly what her powers are. I know what she does. Blah 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 blah. You know,
big kazoo.
But now I'm kind of like, okay, well, like with all these things going on, like for me, I'm starting to think that America Chavez's character is that like she's running from Shuma.
It's like she's running from who?
From Shuma Gorath.
Oh, okay. So she's on the run from Shuma Gorath. I mean, it kind of makes sense when you look at the video and, you know, she's hiding behind Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
You know, the Avatar shows up. I mean, maybe that's even the way she just introduced that the Shuma Gorath character is like just after her in general, right?
Yeah, and like that I can see, you know, that's 100% probable. I mean, Homegirl jumps from reality to reality. Shuma Gorath controls a very large part of the multiverse, you know, she probably jumped in and he was like, "Hey, what are you doing here? You ain't supposed to be here." And she's like, "Oh, well, out." And he's like, "No, come here."
Can we kind of all agree that the tentacles in the What If were probably Shuma Gorath's?
It's either that or a mini angled one, you know, another mini angled one, or maybe even another avatar of Shuma. I mean, it's beyond possible of that.
I hope for you guys' sake that you guys are right, because if it doesn't plan out the way you guys are saying, you guys are going to be so pissed at this movie. Because I'm not going to say that I'll be pissed. I will say that I will have given myself an unreasonable expectation, which is exactly what I was really trying to avoid with No Way Home. No way home.
Yeah, and that way, because like I said, I wasn't disappointed in any way, shape, or form with that movie.
Well, absolutely,
I love that movie. You know, 10 out of 10. I loved it. I will recommend it. I'm going to tell everybody they should watch the fuck out of it.
Well, I have a curveball. I have a curveball for this because
shit.
Here we go.
I have two major talking points that really not a lot of people aren't talking about. One, what does Agatha have to do with it, or what was her job, Agatha Harkness? Mm-hmm. And two, what do we think Vision is going to do in this movie?
If anything,
do you think the entire Wanda show is going to be without White Vision or the Vision or whatever they want? I don't even know what he is right now.
Dude, who the fuck knows at this point?
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
They left that part of the show in WandaVision very open-ended.
Secret Wars. I think he might show up in Secret Wars at some point.
I see a Secret Wars.
I don't know. I don't know when he shows back up.
I can even see him coming in Armor Wars.
In Armor Wars, I was gonna say that as well. Armor Wars as well.
That's coming out. We know that is coming out.
I want to go back to Chris's point. What about the Agatha thing? I want to talk about that. What do you mean?
You know, because if I'm not mistaken, before Agatha got put back into that neighborhood or whatever, she said, "You don't know what you're doing. You're gonna release him." What if she's kind of talking about the whole Shuma Gorath, like that? Her power, like that was her thing, like the Sorcerer Supreme, right? The Ancient One used to hold back Dormammu. What if she's kind of like a person that was holding back Shuma Gorath? Or the many angled ones.
I personally don't think it's
of that nature.
Deep. Yeah, or even that deep. The reason being is because I mean, dude, this girl just lived to fuck with people. You know, well, why not go all in, right? That's just me though.
Because the thing is like the Echo show, Agatha Harkness is going to be getting her own show, and I think those two shows are kind of wild to be able to getting their own shows. I think we talked about it with Echo because, of course, the Hawkeye season ended on a cool note with, you know, of course, you know, Kingpin was referenced in episode 5, but we waited for at least some type of Daredevil reference, and there was not really one until Spider-Man No Way Home, of course. So we don't know where they're going to go on with the Echo show, right? But Agatha Harkness's character is a little bit more mysterious.
And that's why she's getting her own show.
Yeah,
because
it's so crazy though. It's so crazy.
I honestly think I mean I'm excited for that show. I'm excited for the actress, that plays her. So I'm ready for that show. But before we dive deeper into the abyss, we got to stay on course, gentlemen. Yeah. We got to stay on course. All right. The main topic was Spider-Man crushes the
crushing office numbers.
So let's just go over the numbers really quick so we can get off this topic and we can dive into whatever the fuck else we need to get into. So originally, as of right now, as it stands, Spider-Man is standing at 800 million globally.
God damn.
Way to go.
This is in a pandemic that is worldwide. It's still ongoing. It's still ongoing. Can we just give a round of applause? Listen, I don't care if you like the movie, you hate the movie. Can we just give a round of applause to Spider-Man and a pandemic crushing this shit like this?
Bringing in the same numbers that Infinity War did.
Are you kidding me, bro? Like that's phenomenal.
As a matter of fact,
nearly $1 billion.
What was the amount that Infinity Wars brought in?
It was like
Infinity War
is or something like that.
So as of right now, Infinity War is at 640 million.
Okay.
And No Way Home is at 600. So it's safe to say they're gonna catch Infinity War. I don't know if it's gonna catch Endgame, which is at 1.2 billion.
That's gonna be a big stretch.
But it's on its way. It's on its way.
So I have a pretty solid question. We know the success of Spider-Man was great. The story was cool. It was fun. It was an adventure. It was exciting. Kept us all on the edge of our seats. Gave us a lot of great moments. Ratings between all the Marvel movies, where would you put it?
Top 3.
This is a great question.
Top 3.
Top 3. Oof.
Top 3.
You can't name. So you're telling me you can't name 4 movies better than this one in MCU?
In the MCU?
Yeah, the MCU. Between all of them, 10 years of Marvel movies. Where would you rank this movie?
Yeah, top 3.
Oof,
well, that's pretty good. Damn.
How about you, Chris?
Really like this movie?
I'm going last on this one. I'm going last on this one, Chris. How about you?
Yeah, that's pretty good though, man.
Top 10.
Top 2.
Number 1.
Okay, so quick question then, Trigger, since you have it, because it's very hard for me to answer that question. So what are your top 2 if it's part of your top 3?
So No Way Home would be my third. I would have so I'm gonna get a little controversial here, right? I'm gonna give I'd probably Endgame number 1. Number 2 will honestly I'd have to say Winter Soldier.
Wow, that's crazy.
And then No Way Home. I loved Winter Soldier. Yeah, Winter Soldier was my shit.
Where does Infinity War rank on your movie list?
Probably 5.
Yeah,
and then 4 for me would probably be the first Iron Man.
Endgame was better. You liked Endgame more than you liked Infinity War?
Yes. And reason being is because for me, it was a beautiful send-off to 3 amazing characters. And I loved all the bows that they tied for a lot of things. Did I want more in it? Obviously. Did I want a 6-hour cut of Endgame? You fucking know I did. Yeah, if they had Snyderversed it, I'd have been like sick.
Let's go.
Could not give a fuck.
Yeah,
man, 2 fucking tapas of Coke, bro. Whatever. Fuck it. And then but yeah, honestly, in Infinity War is obviously top 10, but the reason that Infinity War isn't higher was because, like, for me, Infinity War is a little bit predictable. Like I knew exactly what was going to happen, only because like I read the comics. So like and at that time I was still theory heavy on everything.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Yeah,
And so like I said, I felt like it was a little bit predictable. Winter Soldier was nice because it kind of fell outside of the realm of predictability. Same thing when it came to Iron Man. Granted, like when I saw Iron Man, I was just blown away at the fact that I was getting an Iron Man movie, period. And No Way Home is just a beautiful movie, right? Like you're seeing three different universes come together and like as harmoniously as two companies can make it fucking work, right? I mean, this is like No Way Home for me is like the movie that Sony and Marvel were definitely like, okay, we're leaving it all on the table. What do we like for everything that we have? Okay, well, I think this. I think you're dumb, but let's go with it. It's just one of those things. Like I think, like I said, harmoniously, like this is the best it could have been at the
Great
time.
take.
And like I said, I think No Way Home put to bed a lot of like, okay, well, what's gonna go on with Tom's new trilogy? See, but the thing is that like Sony's kind of like also come out and said like we don't have another trilogy planned. Amy Pascal was the one who said that, and she doesn't represent Sony.
Yeah,
Amy Pascal represents Marvel.
Listen. That's I'm not letting Chris off the hook because I asked him a question and he just totally bypassed it.
Oh well,
I'm not letting you off the hook. You asked. You're the one that brought up the question, and you
Okay.
asked Trigger the tough question.
Yeah.
So now I'm putting you to the flames, bro. What are your top Marvel movies?
First one, Winter Soldier. Second one, Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Third
fair
one,
enough.
Thor Ragnarok 3. Or
There
Thor
it is.
Ragnarok.
Yes.
And,
Ragnarok. Yeah,
Top
Ragnarok was
three.
a one.
Yes.
Yeah.
4
Yeah, I
would
was
have
waiting
to
for
be
that.
the original Iron Man film. And then 5 would have to be Avengers, the first one.
I think that might have been a little bit of fanfare because you know how much Thor Ragnarok means to me.
No,
So
I have a poster like right there. I have a
Yeah, I mean,
I have a
that movie is
65-pound hammer
fucking
behind me. Dude.
amazing. I love
am
that movie.
Thor. I'm the Mexican Thor. I'm Torta.
Yeah, dude, honestly, like, I mean, like,
Thor Ragnarok.
it really almost is like a loaded question, and the reason that I say that is because, like, I'm not gonna say, "Oh, well, they're all my favorite," right? These ain't my kids, right?
No,
oh, well,
fuck
I don't have
that.
a
Put your
favorite.
feet to
No,
the
no,
fire,
no,
man.
right,
Feet
but
to the
like-
fire, bro.
But
Let's
there
go, man.
are movies that I prefer over other ones.
Yeah.
Like if people were like, "Oh, bro, we're gonna have a fucking Marvel movie marathon for the next 3 days," sick. Let's fucking do it.
Let's do it.
I'm about it.
So like to me, Iron Man 2 wasn't that bad. Whiplash did an amazing job. I'll never forget the scene when he cuts the fucking race car in half.
I think that's a very underrated movie, to be honest.
Yeah,
with you.
but then from there, like the rest of the movie is just kind of like it kind of lacklusters from there. Dude, my favorite scene was that whole thing. Whiplash comes out, cuts the car in half, and does that whole scene real badass. Iron Man grabs the suit from the suitcase, puts it on, opens his arms, puts that shit. I thought that was the best Iron Man suit ever. If I had an Iron Man suit, it would be that one.
You know
I
what
don't
the
even know
funny
why.
thing is that like I want to say for about 20 years, that's how his suit was.
Dude, that was
he fucking
gorgeous,
threw it on
dude.
essentially.
Like just the animation of him like slapping it to his chest and then snapping his arms open, and then you just see it. I was like, fuck, this is really what it's about, isn't it? Like this is what it's fucking about. That was to me like the exact iteration of what I would imagine Iron Man in a real life movie would look like.
See, and like, that really is like how it did happen in the comics. Like Happy followed him everywhere, and then like when shit went down, he like threw the fucking suit at him, and he was like,
he would have to help. Yeah, he'd have to.
Yeah, and he would throw it on, and like that was it, right? It was the Iron Man suitcase that he would just throw at him.
But even with that, like the Iron Man 2 film is like one of my lowest rated movies.
Right,
I can watch it, bro. I can watch it.
There are
I love the fuck out of
parts of each film that you can remember, but then some of the other movies just don't add up. To me, Winter Soldier was probably the most coherent story, espionage, taking the normal dude. It was literally almost like a retelling of Captain America through Bucky's body, or through Bucky's life, but just in such an abnormally great Mission Impossible James Bond way.
See,
Like,
and
that movie was
I liked
so
it for
good.
I liked it for a very similar reason, because you're taking the Captain America character very outside of his comfort zone.
Yeah.
Right? He's a very out there character, a very, very out there character. Everybody knows Steve Rogers is Captain America, right? Brandishing the red, white, and blue, the shield. I mean, you can't not look at this motherfucker, right? But the entire movie is him trying to stay off the radar.
Yep.
You know, and that's why I loved it so much, because you know, it was kind of one of those things where, like, man, Black Widow is the reason you're still alive.
Yep. And it really solidified Black Widow as a major player in the game.
Oh,
too.
100%. 100%.
That movie, honestly, you guys are giving like great explanations and soliloquies as to why that movie was fucking amazing. That movie was just badass, bro.
Yeah,
That's
oh,
all I
fuck
dude.
yeah, dude. I
Overall,
could watch
that movie
day
was
for
just
my
fucking
life.
badass, bro.
The bridge fight.
That's it.
I mean, the fight where the
bridge fight was fucking amazing. The shield catch was fucking amazing.
Oh,
Yo, bro, the whole thing, the whole movie,
10 out of 10, bro.
from
10 out of 10.
start to finish, honestly, up until the last, I want to say the last like 5 years, Winter Soldier has been my top. That was like the top as MCU movies. But just to give a quick rundown, I want to say off the top of my head, I'm gonna give Infinity War #1. I'm gonna give Thor Ragnarok. I'll give Endgame. I'll give Black Panther, and then I'll give Winter Soldier. Those are my how that list is.
So let me ask you, Brian, why Endgame over Infinity War?
Because the story was better. The
Okay.
story, to me, the story was better for Infinity War than it was for Endgame.
Oh,
Now,
fair enough.
Endgame was great because, just like Trigger said, you got the bow on the trilogy, on the Trinity. You got a bow on them. That was great. That even though one of them is still going to be around for a very long time, that's great. But the story, Infinity War, was light years better to me. Light years better than Endgame.
which is fair, you know.
Yeah.
Like people liked like Infinity War over Endgame for, I mean, various reasons, and you know,
Yeah.
Brian's being a very viable one. And the reason that I'm always gonna love, you know, Infinity War is because it's the first time in Marvel movies that you got to see them fail,
Mhm.
like truly
yeah, of course, and a
fail.
huge failure too.
Yeah, and
Not
like
just fail, but in grand fashion.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it was
goddamn-
beautiful.
In grand fashion.
Yeah, and it was beautiful. That's why I love, like, me. I love two things with my storytelling. I love to see a hero fail, and I love to see a hero rise.
Mhm.
Right, and I love seeing it in that order. Right, because you know, if you give me a One Punch Man, I never lose, but you know, I always rise to the occasion, but I still never lose. You're boring.
Yeah, it just gets boring.
I
after a while.
want to see you fail. What do you do when you fail?
See, I like
show me-
Vince.
yeah.
Vince comes in and always asks the good questions. My boy Vince. He asks, okay, well then what's your rank on the worst Marvel movies?
Dark Tower, Captain Marvel, and
Oh, come
Tower
on.
is,
We're not
Iron
doing
Man
this.
3,
We're
Wait,
doing
not Dark
this.
Tower.
Captain
It's,
Dark
Dark World, whatever the
Dark-
fuck,
yeah,
dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're talking
Thor.
Thor 2.
Dark trash.
Thor.
Yeah, Thor trash. Yeah,
Thor
fucking
trash.
yeah, Thor trash.
Thor Part 2,
Captain
Dark
Marvel,
Dumpster Fire.
and Iron Man 3.
Okay.
That's probably, yeah. I want to say, yeah. For me, it's gonna be Thor 2. It's gonna be fucking, oh damn, I was just thinking about it right now. Fucking Ant-Man 2 was
Yep.
trash. Ant-Man 2 was trash.
Yeah, that was me too.
And I would watch Ant-Man 2 over any one of the fucking movies that I just watched.
Yeah. Yeah, off the top of my head, those are the top 2 worst MCU. But I like the rest of them. All the rest of them I can enjoy. Iron Man 3 was kind of bad. Let's call a spade a spade. That was kind of bad. But you know, I can still deal with it.
Yeah, for me, Iron Man 3 would probably have to be my worst out of it because of what they did to the Mandarin.
Yeah,
that
was
I thought, I mean, even though they did fix it in the
unbelievable.
the Shang-Chi
It
story
took
a little
too
bit.
goddamn long to fix it.
Yeah, they took
Too
a
fucking
really
long,
time to
bro.
fix it. You know,
I'm
it
gonna watch
was,
Shang-Chi right now just to be like, fuck Iron Man.
and then, dude, and you had what's that actor's name? Kingston or whatever his name is.
Ben Kingsley.
yeah,
Ben Kingsley.
Dude, and he is like
Kills
that guy's
it.
gold, bro. And you used him for such a beautiful role, only at the end for him to be some kind of weird druggy.
Yeah.
Like
I
just
love
playing an
that,
acting
dude.
role.
I loved his like
Yeah.
portrayal as a fucking strung out, like, Nobody
Actor.
bullshit actor,
Yeah.
dude. And I'm like, yes, dude.
And
fuck
and
yeah.
again, this goes back to what I've always said. They ruined the opportunity for them to do a proper extremis Iron Man story.
Yes. Yes.
And again,
that's what makes me the fuck it. And
you remember,
that is-
Brian, remember I'm always telling you when they
that is
pick and
like,
choose what they want to do and they mess things up.
But
I
they
want to say that
can't-
is probably
it's
my
such a
top
dark-
3.
They can't go through that
favorite.
stuff. Yeah, I know what you're gonna say.
Iron Man is such a dark character, dude. This is Disney, guys. You
Yeah.
can't do it.
know,
Now
and
you
I
ask me,
love
you
it.
ask me if I want to see it. Fuck yeah,
Yeah, of course.
I want to fucking see this shit. But you can't sell that shit, bro. Like,
Because to me, like straight up, like there's 2 stories or 3 stories that stick out to me in the Iron Man comics that are very prominent, which is of course the fear itself, right? There is
Granted,
the
that's not
extremist
exactly
story,
a
and
granted,
then
that's not
there's the
exactly an Iron
Supreme
Man
Iron
story,
Man.
but yes, he is very prominent in that movie, in that story.
So the thing is and of course fear itself, you know, he's the guy that forges all the Asgardian armor for all the superheroes to fight against Odin's brother, who makes a bunch of evil hammers.
Mhm.
And it's a fucking crazy story. That's that's fear itself before the other one, which is the Dark Avengers one, right? The one that they do with the Norman Osborn. And then they go and Siege. That's Siege. Yeah, that goes into Siege. Yeah. Supreme is even crazier because it's during the AVX series, which is Avengers versus X-Men, but they flip the heroes to be villains and the villains
you're
to
talking
be
about
heroes.
Axis. No, you're talking
That's
about
Axis,
Axis,
right?
Yes, Axis.
Yeah. Oh, not AVX. Yeah, it's Axis. I always get the titles mixed up because the titles look the same. So
Yeah.
Axis, they flip the switch on the heroes. All the heroes become villains and the villains become heroes. And Iron Man becomes this like
Asshole.
dude that creates like the most ultimate nanomachine watch that makes everybody perfect. But then
you
he
have
like
to pay
fucks everybody
but you
over
have to pay $100 today. Sorry, a day to keep using
to
it.
keep using it. But it makes you like the perfect version of yourself.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he's just like, cool, everybody like is fucking controlled by me or some shit. Turns into like the biggest villain ever. Like it's crazy.
You know what the even better part of Axis is that when everyone switches back, he's the only one to stay a villain.
That stays a villain.
Because he figures out a way scientifically to keep himself
evil. I'm telling you, man. And then of course the Extremis was super important because it's right before he learns how to use nanotechnology for his Extremis armor, like for his armor that literally like grows on him like a symbiote. Like it was a very, very cool storyline. So like those are the 3 ones that are super important. And they've only touched base on literally one of them, I believe. So you still have room for more. But yeah, going past that, going all the way back to Vince's original awesome question. Dark World 2 or whatever, Thor 2, Thor 2 Dark Dumpster Fire.
Yeah.
For me, Ant-Man 2, yeah. Brian got that right. Ant-Man 2 is another one that's bad for me. And my last one, what would it be? Fuck, off the top of my head, I really can't. We said Iron Man 3. Yeah, Iron Man 3. That's something that we could have done without.
You really like Captain Marvel more than all of those movies?
Oh, I was kind of.
I
wanted.
dig Captain
Listen,
Marvel.
I wanted to go like past this, but fuck
I could
you,
dig
bro.
Captain Marvel.
Captain,
I did not like what they did with
It's
Marvel.
over. I'm over it. No, I'm over it. I'm over everyone shitting on that movie. That movie was fucking dope, bro.
No,
that movie was fucking like it's okay. It's okay to say that movie was that movie was okay, bro.
Yeah, no,
it's okay to say.
I'm good. Yeah,
I know people like don't like fucking Brie Larson and shit like that, but like the movie was all right.
That's what everybody's concern is. That's not mine. I think Brie Larson did amazing. I love her in Scott Pilgrim. Like, look, I'll never forget her in Scott Pilgrim.
Brie Larson is an amazing actress. She is a very, very accomplished actress. Her chops are definitely worth MCU. Yeah, definitely worth the MCU. She, I believe, has earned her place in the MCU. I kind of think she's a bit of a cunt, but that's just me.
See, and you can't get over that. So you can't just brush over that.
Hold on. Let me finish.
I'll let you land.
But Captain Marvel is a weak movie. It's just a weak movie.
Okay,
why?
So
explain. I need to know why. I just want to know why.
Wait, before you go, I'll explain my point real quick. In the comic book, Captain Marvel has been very hard to write for, unless you go back all the way to where she was just like a side character. The thing is right now is the position that Brie Larson has stepped into is into a position that started where no one liked it. But Brie Larson has made the character very likable.
So
Like,
I gotta
like
ask you.
her.
I gotta ask
I
you a
think she
question.
does a great
and
job.
this goes to you as well, Trigger. I'm quickly realizing that it's extremely hard for the comic book
Community.
like purist community to differentiate from a movie to the adaptation that is stemming from. It's coming from the.
You're talking about like and forgive my terminology, continuity Nazis.
Exactly.
Right?
So hold on. So just take the knowledge you have of Captain Marvel, throw that out the window, light it on fire, throw it out the window. Let's say you knew nothing about Captain Marvel and you sat down and you watched the Captain Marvel. You feel as though it was still shitty, or just because it's coming from a character that no one likes, you guys don't care for, and you think Brie Larson's a cunt? Is that like?
Actually, believe it or not, I actually very much like Captain Marvel in the comic books. She's actually a very, very big mainstay for myself. And reason being is because of who she's connected to. Captain Marvel was a very, very important and very influential figure in the Avengers mythos. Their connection was a big deal, big deal. Now, granted, yes, I am being a bit of a continuity Nazi here at times, which I'm not going to say that I'm allowed to, but like it's hard for me to shake. Right?
You're allowed to. No, I'm not condemning that. You're allowed to. Dude.
Yeah, but for me, I felt that it was very narratively lacking because of the plot twist that happened at the end, because that almost felt forced. And then on top of that, the memory wipe, I was like, what? Why? Like, what would that have changed? Anything? She was just a pilot. And then you find out that like, oh, well, she flew an engine. Yeah, so does every other fucking pilot in the world. They fly engines. They're just big. Okay. Well, this engine is alien made.
If you don't like the movie, that's fine. You don't like the movie, but put it into your top 3 worst MCU movies.
I thought it was narratively lacking. Lacking. You know what, man? Here. I'll take the name.
Don't do me.
I'll take the name Trigger Jaded.
But let me. I want to ask though, Trigger. So you dug Ant-Man 2, like the way they did Fishburne's character, the way they treated Ghost.
And the reason that Ant-Man 2 isn't on my top 3 is because I didn't care enough about that movie to really give it like enough. And the reason
did that make it one of the worst? Then?
I ain't giving shit about that movie, so fuck it.
Yeah,
did that make it one of the worst if you didn't even care for it?
Yeah, I was like, bro, okay.
I mean, think about it this way:
but
we're going
you want to
into
know
part
the
3
part of fucking that movie?
Imagine this. Imagine
when
this.
He's possessed by her mom and she like touches fucking Hank's face. He's like, oh, Hank. I was like, queer. That was like the best part of that movie.
Hold on, but remember this. If Ant-Man 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp was that unmemorial for you, where it's like non-existent to you in the MCU, and you don't consider it at least like your guaranteed top #1 most not wanted movie, how are you gonna go into part 3 being excited for Kang, the major villain, being in it?
Because I actually know of Kang and I have a fucking connection to Kang because
but he's gonna be in the fucking movie and you care to watch the second one of.
Yeah, and the reason that I even care about Kang is because Kang is an Iron Lad who is a Tony Stark who becomes Kang, and so like through weird shift of events,
that's the equivalent to them just throwing Kang and Hawkeye for you. Then
I know,
like,
I know,
yeah, it would have been weird as fucking cool, but
does my logic make sense? Absolutely not, but that's just the way that I feel about it.
So can we safely agree, Trigger, that Ant-Man Part 2 is probably another worst hated movie, at least tied for one of those 3?
You know what? I will tie it for my number 3.
Okay, there you go.
So
Captain Marvel is tied with Ant-Man 2.
So fellas, can we move on from top rated hated movies to like top rated villains? Can we
Ooh, okay, so here we go. Okay, so Brian brought up a really good fucking point earlier today. He hit me up. I gave him a list of like, hey man, we could talk about this on the show today. And Brian was like, what about this? Have you heard about this? And I was like, I skimmed it, but what's this about?
All right. So Chris, I've already spoke to you about it. Triggs, check this out. So I don't know if you got a chance to see, but Michael B. Jordan, who is known to be Killmonger for Black Panther, he sat down with Bleacher Report, and he sat down with a reporter, Taylor Rooks, and he had this very interesting statement to say about the character of Killmonger.
Okay.
He basically said that Killmonger is not a villain. He thinks that I quote, "I think he was a necessary part of the conversation." He goes on to say he cared about his people just as much as T'Challa. He just had a different way about getting it done. I think he was a historian that studied the history of government and oppression. Eric is a really smart guy and an MIT graduate. Eric saw there was really only one way to change things, and so that's how he went about it. I don't think his argument was completely wrong. I don't think T'Challa's argument was completely wrong. I think it was necessary conversation that needed to be had.
I agree.
So, fellas, what are your thoughts of the actor playing Killmonger saying that he does not believe that probably one of the most iconic villains in MCU history is not a villain?
I think I understand why he says what he says.
Do you agree?
Yes and no. Yes and no. And the reason that I do agree is because his reasoning behind everything is liberation, right?
Justified.
Is the justified liberation of, oppression and those who are oppressed. But he's only willing to liberate certain people, and that's not right. It's either you're going to give everyone that choice or you're going to give nobody that choice.
Because if not, he's just a tyrant, which is also a villain.
Yeah, which you're a tyrant.
I don't understand.
Chris, hold on. I see it in your face.
Yeah, man, dude.
I'm fully aware that Chris is.
I'm just watching Chris the whole time. He's boiling.
I'm not going to say attempt to destroy my argument, but he's going to say this is wrong.
Because it's not your argument, reasons. Trigger. It's Michael B. Jordan's argument. It's Michael B. Jordan that I'm disagreeing with.
Which yet again, I understand. It's one of those things that if Michael B. Jordan and and he said, well, I'm going to liberate all Mexicans and I'm going to give them super duper awesome weapons that'll liberate all Mexicans. Well, sick.
Namor is gonna liberate us into the sea, dude.
If that's a story,
it's gonna happen, Brian. MCU's
He's not pretty. He's not pretty, dude. This guy looks ugly. Namor is gorgeous. That guy fucks. That guy fucks, dude.
That guy smashes, bro.
You know what? He
smashes more than the Hulk, dude.
That guy is a straight hide your wife kind of guy.
Why did you watch
this
shit?
Watch when he comes out.
Why did you bring up Namor?
Brad Pitt of Mexicans, bro. You watched it.
Honest to God, bro? Have you ever seen Brian? Have you ever seen the Dave Chappelle episode where it's this black guy who reviews movies and they were like, "Oh, well, The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. It was a beautiful retelling of blah blah blah." He was like, "Bullshit. There's no fucking way that you're gonna give me a white guy who's gonna play the last samurai Japanese. You might as well just go get Ben Stiller and call him the last nigga alive." And I was like, right?
I do remember that. Chris, go, because I know you. Go ahead. Debate.
So it's his approach to the concept. I get what Michael B. Jordan's saying because he's an artist. For what he does, he's a theatrical artist. He looks at characters as Shakespearean characters. He wants them to be deeper than what they truly are. But Killmonger's a fucking homicidal murderer. Like, that's just what the fuck he is, bro. Like, I don't give a fuck. The guy could tell me, like, hey, dude, like, Killmonger, but he donates his money to girls. I don't give a fuck, dude.
That's great. He
shot
his girlfriend. He shot his girlfriend in the fucking head, bro.
He's the historian part of him fucking poisoned a woman, and then like she wasn't even a necessary death, dude. But he was like, "Oh, this white woman that's choking that poisoned her just to steal a fucking hammer, dude." Like, come on, man. That guy was a tyrant. If he don't even really aim villainy, and I get it, like, honestly, because of the fact that he sees the righteous nature of Killmonger's motives or whatever Disney wrote him.
So
Fuck,
yes,
there was people that agreed that Thanos was right, dude. Like I get it. I get the fucking like. Hey,
I
50's
get
not
that
bad,
argument more than I do Killmonger.
Yeah.
so listen. Just hear me out, and just follow me.
Go for
a second, guys, because I don't need to spend too much time on this. Michael B. Jordan's
I
a
love
fucking
this
nutcase.
fucking theory though.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan's a nutcase. He's clearly a villain. He's probably one of the best villains that they've ever had. And
Yeah.
don't take it away from me. So fuck you, Michael B. Jordan. But hear about this. Just follow me for 1 second. How about this? How about the reason he's saying this is because there may be an incentive to where he could change the narrative to where Killmonger isn't seen as a villain in the MCU moving forward. Does that make
they
sense?
had
a bunch
that,
of scar on his body
fucking
for all the kills
opportunity
he
in What
got.
If, and they fucked it up again.
Bro, he's got scars on his body. He looks like an alligator from all the people he's killed.
You
Yeah.
can save that though. You can. I don't know how.
Show that.
You
He
can
doesn't say
save it
nothing.
though. You can save that and make him a good guy. And maybe this is the beginning of that. Maybe that's him.
Brian, I have a feeling you are hitting at the third time's the charm sort of thing
No,
here.
no, you're
man.
right. You're right. But no, I'm just this is the conspiracy theorist in me coming out.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
thinking,
Fair enough.
I'm thinking maybe there may be some issues with Black Panther in the franchise, and to where they may need an exit strategy.
That's fair.
And Killmonger just may be the exit strategy. So you have your actor. So you have your actor go out there and say, "Hey, he wasn't that bad of a guy. He wasn't that bad of a guy."
Can we just not agree that M'Baku would probably be the fucking greatest Black Panther?
He's
because
probably
of
gonna
his
be
comedy.
your next. Yeah.
Dude, that dude is so great with his fucking punchlines.
And I love Winston Duke, bro. I love the actor.
yeah, he's so
I
good.
love him.
Truth, bro.
I love
M'Baku,
him. I love
man.
him.
That guy is the truth, my guy.
But
I
I
like
love
when
him,
he's
dude.
fucking talking to that dude and he's like, say that again and we're gonna eat you or whatever the
Yeah,
fuck. And the guy's like, I'm joking, we're vegetarians. I was like, this fucking dude. And I would love to see like a trial of all of them trying to be the Black Panther, or everybody getting like a week free, be the Black Panther, like try it out kind of shit. I would love to see it. I think it'd be great. I think it'd be great. Fuck it. Fuck it, like AOL back in the day. They all get a disc or whatever, dude. Fuck it. But yeah, I get it. I get it. I get that having Killmonger's dead. Like that dude's dead, bro. Like there's no any deader than that. Dead. Well, multiverse. This is again multiverse. Like, but then again, what would you want? Okay, but then again, what would you want to see? If they introduce the idea that the multiverse is gonna reset a bunch of these problems and stuff, would you want to see the Killmonger from the comics, who's a lot more killer and insane, like almost like the Joker of Black Panther, like just straight up like this guy murks dudes? Or do you want to see him be all cool and diplomatic and come back?
I
and
did
be
not
like
mind the version of Killmonger we got. I don't need the ultra violent black man killing people. I don't need that. But the character that we got that you can kind of say he had a point. Now that's a conversation. That's a talking point. That's a conversation to have. That's what I want in my villain. Which I did also want to touch on this. I don't want to go too much longer on this topic.
I love this conversation though.
It's great, but I do want to get your gentleman's opinion on something though.
Shoot.
With all of the villains that we've had so far, which we've had a variety of villains that
Okay, like 20 something villains already.
a lot of them, and I think we touched on that before. I want to get your takes on how the villains are played or the villains are portrayed in the MCU so far. Overall, villains.
Are we talking about accuracy, or are we just talking about overall?
No, just their overall characters.
Just how your thought? Yeah, I don't want to say accuracy as when it pertains to the source material, but I want to mean like when you're watching a movie, how a villain or how an actor is portraying.
I think they're all in like a Shakespearean way, that they're all coming from tragedy. Minus the dark world, dark elf guy who is like, oh, I'm a dark elf, I'm born evil or whatever the fuck. Like they all come from some tragic backstory that gets them to turn evil. And I think they do well for the sense of storytelling. They give a lot of homage to the hero's path and the hero's journey. when it comes to the storytelling writing.
Except for
They all have
Crossbones. That guy was just a
magnificent
straight
purpose.
douchebag.
Crossbones was honestly that was
It was very underutilized.
So Chris, who do you think has been the best villain in the MCU so far? Your choice. Thanos excluding. Thanos cannot be used.
Baron Zemo.
Oh, good one.
Baron Zemo. I think
fucking A, dude.
I think the way that he portrays the character, the backstory of him being part of the Sokovian story, and then him trying his best to be that piece of shit, like new age Nazi, neo-Nazi kind of dude. Like he
plays it so well.
He fucking does it well.
Plays it so well.
Like he makes me want to hate him, but then you want to love him at the same time. Like it's like Falcon says when he's like, I mean, he is out of line, but he's not wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
honestly, he plays it to where like you know he's like that new age Nazi, but he's kind of like diplomatic about it though.
Yeah,
like he's not stupid about it.
Like to me, okay. And this is that problem. Like, this is where Michael B. Jordan is incorrect. His character, if he was more diplomatic, he wouldn't have been a villain.
Yeah,
but it was his execution that made him a villain and a tyrant. Mm-hmm. Where Baron Zemo is the exact same shit, but he's diplomatic. So okay. But yeah, Baron Zemo for me, dude, hands down from the very beginning when he was introduced in Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, when he was introduced in Civil War. Yeah, that's for me. And then of course into Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think that was the fucking best iteration of him, and suit and all, dude. It was amazing. Triggs, your turn.
Triggs.
Oh man, you know,
hard though, man.
I'm really gonna have
Ironmonger, good call.
Yeah, I'm either gonna have to either Ironmonger or Baron Zemo, and I kind of want to lean a little bit more towards Baron Zemo. Reason being is not even the what you guys were mentioning, a little bit more deeper than that. It's just that guy was just mad. That's all he was. He was just mad.
Yeah,
why was he mad? Because his fucking family died, bro. And you know what? Fucking more power to you, dude. I'd probably be the same way. You know, I can definitely understand where that guy's coming from. Like, well, the Avengers are almost directly responsible for my family dying. And
he was
pissed.
Guys. He was pissed. He was pissed. He was pissed.
You know, and I think, you know, Black Panther's words to him were perfect. You know, where he was like, you know, your hate is consumed and destroyed many things, but I will not let mine destroy me any further.
Yeah, he learned a lesson from him.
Yeah, and it was beautiful because even in Falcon and Winter Soldier, yet again, like you're going through these things and you know you're seeing him redeem himself, but at the same time, you know, like, oh man, that guy's got a scheme working. He's got a scheme working.
Yeah,
and
I think he was very well done.
And like I almost see him like weaseling out of whatever's happening to him in fucking Wakanda right now.
Oh yeah. Hey, what about you, Brad?
I would probably say Killmonger. I would say Killmonger, but I will get some notable
honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. I would definitely say Ultron.
Ultron, very cool, man.
Ultron was pretty cool.
Such a great villain.
Red Skull is pretty cool,
man. And it's man, dude. And that's what sucks is like, being that our main topic consists of that actor's like one of his major upbringings, Hugo Weaving. Yeah, right. Like for him not to reprise the role in Infinity War or to see him come back, like I'm gonna be super bummed out if he doesn't come back because he's such a huge role, man.
I take it back. It's gonna be my number one answer is probably gonna be a toss up between Killmonger and Hela. Hela to me was badass, bro. Hela was
a bad bitch, dude. That was
Hela was badass, dude. Like that was a great villain, and that was like a villain of the word villain. There was there was a straight villain, bro.
And
like,
she was proud of that shit too.
Yeah,
she wore that shit like a badge of honor.
Yeah,
she's like, this isn't the history. Check this shit out. I was swashbuckled. I was bathing in blood for years, man, and I loved it.
Hela was badass.
She had a big ass wolf as a pet. Like, who the fuck has that? Not even God of War has that shit, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but straight up, Hela's a good call, man. Good shit, good shit. All right, on to the next one. On to our co-main event, our co-main conversation. We're going to be talking about, of course, the season finale of Hawkeye. Gentlemen, last episode 6 came out. we had our talks. I know Trigger, you hadn't been here in a while, so our major discussion and our major critique was, how the fuck are they going to finish this all in one episode? Episode 6 came out. Brian, I must ask you first, did they deliver?
That was the question that we had, is how they were gonna like cram everything into this last episode, and I was nervous. I had probably spent 2 of our shows bitching about how they were gonna do this. And guess what, gentlemen? They pulled that shit off, bro.
They pulled it off pretty good.
They pulled it off.
Trigger,
They pulled it off.
Did you get to watch the last episode?
Yes, it did.
Excellent. And what did you think of the last episode of Hawkeye, the Disney Plus show?
I only really cared about one thing, believe it or not. Kingpin was not my highlight of that episode. Did I love seeing him? Of course I did.
Real quick question. If any of you mind, I just want to ask a question. Can we talk spoilers already, or do we have to give a warning, or can we just go right into this? Because I mean, straight up, if you didn't watch the season finale when it came out, I kind of feel bad for you, because that was a really good season ending. You should have been catching up on the show. You've had literally 4 or 5 days to get this done, and our boy Trigger's here on a day off. You could be watching this shit right now.
Fuck that, we're talking spoilers.
Yeah,
Trigger's
we're doing
here,
spoilers.
bro.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're doing
right into
spoilers.
spoilers.
I was about to say, I was like, bro, the fact that I'm here.
I was gonna say, fuck that.
Yeah, that's the
The
thing.
fact that I'm here. Okay.
But before we get into spoilers, give me a rating on the last episode and then an overall over the whole season.
Last episode, I'm gonna give a
out of 10.
Honestly, I'm gonna give it a very soft 9 out of 10. And I will talk about my reasons as to why. Gentlemen.
Oh, Brian, you're first.
Yeah. So if I were gonna rate this episode, I'm gonna have to go with Triggs. I'm probably gonna give it a 9.
Yeah,
probably like a hard 9. I'm gonna say like they hit everything that I need to hit. I do have 1 or 2 things I don't like about it, but it didn't deter me from not liking the episode. And honestly, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. This episode kind of saved
the entire season.
I agree.
It kind of did.
I'm not gonna say the entire series, but it definitely saved the first half.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm gonna say is I think that each episode by itself is kind of lackluster, but when it all came together at the end,
it
all felt like a complete puzzle.
That's kind of how I view Loki now. You know what I mean? That's now how I view Loki, because if every episode of Loki was a little lackluster.
Yeah,
but once you tie it all together, it's a beautiful story.
It's a great story. It's a great story.
In hindsight, you can look at every single MCU show that has come out so far, whether it be WandaVision to now, all of every single episode is lackluster in every way. But once you tie the bow on the knot, on every one of them, they are fucking gorgeous.
Yeah,
every single one of them.
So we can all agree that the format that Marvel is using for their television shows right now is a lot better than the Netflix series that was coming out. So with the final episode that came out, we had a complete almost 90% episode with Vincent Garofalo, the main guy that plays Kingpin in the Netflix series, now in the Disney Plus show. Mm-hmm. How do you feel that they portrayed the character coming from Netflix to this?
It was pretty accurate, other than like the weird nerf / buff that he got.
It was so weird. He was nerfed, but he wasn't. He was overpowered. Swear to God, I thought this. He was nerfed but overpowered at the same time.
Yeah, I was like, okay, we're getting a weird buff, and then that happened. And then the explosions happened, and I was like, and there's his nerf. Okay. Because
fucking arrow to the chest.
This guy got 3 arrows to the chest. He rips doors off and throws people like they're fucking rag dolls, and then he gets exploded twice, and
and then
he gets
shot in the face.
Yeah, and so I was like, all right, sick. I guess that's what we're doing.
So, myself, I kind of feel like Disney. I mean, but then again, they're the ones with the more reference of the comic books and the character. They felt really freedom wise on how they were trying to portray the Kingpin's powers, or how his power, like how OP this guy is. Because like you guys said, he's extremely durable for some awkward reason, and he's only
As a
strong,
human being.
He's only strong when the scene needs him to be strong.
Exactly.
Because other than that, he's dragging Kate Bishop on the ground, and then the other parts he's throwing her like 3 miles away.
Yeah, it's
So,
he's like
very
dragging her,
weird.
and he's like cool, and then like out of nowhere, zoop.
They took a lot of freedoms. With this character.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
and I think Disney was just saying like, hey, well, I don't think the audience is going to complain because they're getting the Kingpin. It's what they wanted.
Yeah,
Like that's what I think it was. And I'm really happy that he's coming in. I even as a comic book reader, I don't know how they're going to bring him back because that guy literally like he took everything that Deadpool would take and like that would put him down for a little bit. Like I don't know. He was just limping off explosions, a shot in the chest. Literally, I don't even know how the mom drove the car that fast from that small of a distance. Did that trip you guys out?
that I didn't pay too much attention to.
She drove that car like 80 miles an hour, and she was parked parallel right next to him.
Oh yeah,
Like, I
and
was
he
like,
gets
she would have
run
a
over,
3-point turn.
and he's still like,
And still
whatever.
stood up and beat the shit out of Kate Bishop for a bit.
Yeah,
Like,
I was like, okay, what?
I guess the only other thing that would kind of that my gripe would be about this, even though I'm giving it a high expectation, it was a 9 for me, and the season also was high. I think they did it very well. I think Clint Barton, they wrote his character out very well. They really gave us a really good Kate Bishop story. So like I'm good. Yelena came out. She was amazing. I think she
listen. Florence Pugh. I don't listen. All of the actors in the MCU moving forward, they need to be put on notice. Do not come on some bullshit if you're in a scene with Florence Pugh. She is going to outshine you.
She's
so
good.
She stole every scene that she was in this show.
100%.
Everyone.
Yeah,
Every one of them. Whether it be her costume, her fucking hair, her acting, her fucking
Yeah, she did it. She was amazing throughout the
moves,
entire thing.
all of
her
them.
moves, everything. She stole everything, dude. Don't play around with Florence Pugh,
the only thing that I thought was crazy other than that was like the overuse of the stunt guys for the tracksuits. Like where I was like, that's like a video game where like there was like 80 of them.
There was like
Apparently
80 of them. Yeah,
and they kept disappearing and reappearing like as like new guys. So like you know how like when you kill a guy in a video game and the body disappears? Like it was like that. Like the guys just kept disappearing and just reappearing. And I was like, where are the fucking cops, bro? Like New York. I mean, Brian, where are the police, man?
Yeah, yo, that was a great question. I asked myself that too. I was like, where the fuck are the cops, bro?
Yeah,
you're in the middle of. You guys have never been, but you're in the middle of Rockefeller Center, dude.
I've never been there.
I've been there.
Yes, you've been in the middle of Rockefeller Center, bro, which is the most heavily fucking
populated
and guarded places because you can't fuck with that tree, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like you can't,
bro.
It's the heavily guarded area, so you can't just go. And there's 30 Rock right there, so you have a lot of executives, a lot of things you need protecting over there in that area. You can't have a full-blown 100-man shootout in the middle of fucking. You can't do it, bro. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
With that, what did you guys think of the worst Avenger showing up at the end of the series? Swordman.
The worst Avenger. Oh, Swordman.
That's what he's known as. He's known as the worst Avenger.
You know what? I'm with it, yo. I like.
Yeah, he did good. I thought he did excellent. I thought it was cool. Like at the end, he kind of like.
Triggs is not having it. It doesn't look like he's not having it. I enjoyed it.
I thought that guy was like, huh.
I loved it. I loved it.
Bro, that's the way
even the arm throwback. Like, I mean, yes, you can tell that this guy fences, right? You know,
haha.
On God. He said,
it's fucking
on God.
He said, dude, I thought that was amazing. Okay, so
I loved it, bro.
I thought it was very cool the way they wrote him because, of course, throughout the entire show, we were assuming that he was going to be the villain, like that he was going to be some bad dude.
That's why I love
himself.
That's why I love the MCU's way that they plot
that
twist
they twist shit, dude. It's so good. The misdirect is so good. So like at the very end when he comes out, he's almost like a legit LARPer. Like, because then the LARPing dudes are like, "Hey, man, you're pretty good. You should join us." And he's like, "What is LARPing?"
Chris, I thought about you. That's the circus right there, bro. That's your circus.
Yep, that's exactly what I was about to say.
That was your circus.
That was the build of the circus. That's the evil circus. Yeah, I could totally see that. But then again, it's super crazy because they're all
They're not gonna be.
they're all
evil.
first responders and shit. They're all
Yeah, they're
cops
not gonna
and
be-
fire
they're not gonna
department and ambulance guys, and now they're gonna be part of this weird ass circus with this dude. But you know what? What I think, if anything, that they're gonna do if they continue this storyline like this, they're gonna make it more of like the corny thieves.
Yeah,
Like they're gonna be like dumb thieves. Like they're all gonna be dumb thieves, like silly guys. Like they want to be heroes, but they can't quite get there because they have to go to church tomorrow.
listen. If you give me a show with the LARPers and Jack,
Swordsman? Yeah.
I might
I'm
fucking
gonna watch
watch
that
that
shit.
shit.
I
I might
think it
watch
was
that
so
shit,
funny.
bro. Yo, I might watch that shit, bro.
It
That might
was
be
such-
fucking dope, yo.
It was just enough humor that it felt in place for the Hawkeye show, because Clint
Yeah.
Barton's character throughout this entire show is kind of like, bro, just fuck off. I'm so done with all of this. Like, leave me the fuck alone, dude. Like, even at the end,
and
he's stuck in the
even
tree.
then, I really didn't even feel that his comedy aspect was forced either, because
no,
like
dude,
it was
it was just
yeah.
it felt like almost like if it was you in his role, you would be like, dude, just stop. Like,
yeah, dude, just
like there's this
over
little
it.
kid
Yeah,
that wants to do what I'm doing, and they just don't understand. They think it's easy and fun and sexy, but I'm just so tired of it. My favorite part is just when he's in the tree. And,
Please don't do anything.
and then
Please
Kate
don't do-
Bishop's
please
like,
tell
don't
me you're
worry,
not
I got
gonna do
this shit. And he's like, wait, what? Wait, like the miscommunication
Yeah,
throughout that
yeah.
entire scene is so fucking golden.
And Jeremy Renner, again, I don't think we've given him enough credit.
Yeah,
Jeremy
he doesn't
Renner
get
has
credit.
done
He's
a
A1,
fucking
dude.
phenomenal job. When
He
the
plays-
LARPers came out, all fully dressed, he was like, "We're all gonna fucking die."
Come on. He was
That
like,
was
get
fucking
out of
great.
here, dude.
That was fucking great. Wait, before you continue, I just wanted to read some of the comments really quick.
Yeah.
Rob, question. I'm assuming you're talking about Kingpin. Question: did he get shot or not? It's not on camera, so it's not on camera.
Yeah,
so
we have to assume we don't know.
we don't know. And Vince proposed a really good question. What is your favorite Marvel Disney Plus final episode? And I brought this up in our chat where I ranked this one. And it's pretty high. This finale did it for me. This to me was number 2. I like the Loki season finale better than this one, but this is a close second. This is a really close second.
I'd have to
Fucking
put
duck,
yeah,
that's
I'd have
good
to put
question.
Loki as number 1. This one is number 2, and Falcon and Winter Soldier as number 3.
Okay.
I'm just gonna
I
give
think-
one, but it's not a final episode. It's the second to the last, and that was Loki.
That was
When,
a great
um,
one too, though.
The second to
Yeah.
the last episode when the classic Loki comes out and does the big imagination,
yeah.
like the.
Oh,
big
that was a
thing.
great episode.
To,
But-
to
but-
me,
all right,
like,
but just- but-
for
all right,
glorious
let's-
purpose.
We're not doing episodes. Just
yeah,
finales,
but that's the
but
thing. Like,
finales,
I
though.
felt like
The final
me-
episode.
that was like the nail in the casket for that season. Like the last part, like it was a bunch of like, of course, talking. They introduced Kang, the man at the end of time. Like that was great. I thought it was cool. Like, but that didn't feel like it was a send off for the Loki character to me as much as that episode.
Okay.
So to me, for the character Loki, that was a really great season finale for me. That one,
Well, I love that episode, by the way.
that
That's
was man,
probably
dude, like even
that
even
episode
to
is
this
probably my favorite
day.
episode of all Disney Plus episodes.
Yeah.
Period.
I mean,
that
of course,
episode
not to
was-
remove the idea that Wanda wasn't great, because Wanda's
Yes,
episode was
yeah.
of course awesome.
Wanda as a whole, that's
Was
still
awesome.
my favorite. No, that's still my favorite Disney Plus show.
I think that
It's
that one
Wanda
is the
movie.
heart of the Disney
See,
Plus
and
shows.
you know what? Like I loved, like start to finish, Winter Soldier. Sorry, again, Falcon and
The
Winter
Falcon and
Soldier.
Winter
Yo,
don't
I
know
love
why.
that too. Everyone
I don't
shits
know
on
why,
that
but-
fucking show,
I
but I
don't-
love
For
that
me,
that
like
one.
that one just held like a deeper emotional connection for me.
Yeah, it's
And
more
like
relevant.
not to say that like Wanda's didn't or anything like that, because like her story is just fucking tragic.
But
Start
it's
to
more
finish, right?
relatable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like no, for Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think it's just I felt a deeper connection towards Bucky's character than I did for Wanda's. And like not at all to like give her any less attention or anything like that, or any less like space in my head or anything like that. But I just felt like when it comes to like tragedy and the rise and things like that, I felt like Bucky's was a little bit more powerful because if we're gonna look at the show as a whole, you have Bucky just rage at Falcon for giving up the shield. And he's like, oh, well, like, what if fucking Steve was wrong about you? Because if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me. You know,
Yeah,
and
there's so
That was
much, so
powerful.
much, there's
That
so much
was powerful.
relatability.
yeah,
And that was powerful.
you know, and then on top of that, you know, you have Isaiah Thompson, who's like, why would you ever pick up that shield as a black man? You know, like knowing what you
brother.
know and knowing what I've been through and stuff like
That
that.
whole dynamic.
It was just a
That
very,
whole
very
dynamic,
powerful
yeah.
show.
That whole
So like
dynamic.
that,
made
that's
it-
why for me, like it's my favorite.
Yeah.
You know, and like obviously, you know, I'm not black, right? But like it's still just a very, very powerful message, you know, start to finish with all of that, you know, and you know, excluding my military service, excluding, you know, what I've been through, excluding it, you know, all of that.
That
It
was a
still
dope
just
show.
very, very, yeah, it was just a very
fucking-
powerful
Yeah, it was
show
a
for
beautiful
me.
show. I love that
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Honestly, I loved all the shows.
Yeah.
I don't really dislike any of them.
any of them, yeah.
Yeah, so
I
it's
dislike
like
DC
it's your
movies more than I dislike these shows.
yeah.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
shit.
it's just
DC
your-
is
it's your
really
preference.
slacking right now, man.
That's what, and I was saying that in the
Previous
chat
episode.
earlier. I was like, listen, bro, like, listen, I don't like the shit on the DC
On anything,
universe, but dude, like, let's go, man. Like,
yeah, you're real. They're
like,
if
let's
they, if they
go.
were behind before, like they're like snails moving right now, man.
if it wasn't
But,
for their animated division,
Yeah.
they would be in the dark
Yeah, they'd
ages
be in the
right
red
now.
right now.
You'd be in like the dark ages right
Yeah,
now.
another thing that I wanted to see, we have Jeremy comes out and says, well, with Kingpin included, wouldn't that play a part because he owns them?
I don't know. What that
I don't understand what that means. Maybe the tracksuits? Maybe. I don't know. Jeremy, you're gonna have to explain it to me.
Yeah,
Just
man,
not
you're gonna have to be a little specific on
Hey,
what
break that
you're
down a
talking
little
about, brother.
Hey, Chris,
Um,
Chris, can you do me a favor? Can you read Vince's
I'm gonna bring-
last comment?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that
Can
up
we
right
please?
now.
All right, thanks.
Um,
Appreciate it.
Straight up. And that's because I was the person that didn't think that this was it. I will totally take the blame on that shit. I didn't think they were gonna go that route, and I'm kind of surprised that they did because Mockingbird. They ended up bringing out that Hawkeye's wife is Mockingbird, right?
Yeah.
Who has a bunch of different nicknames in the comic books, but yeah, through and through, she was married to Hawkeye for a bit. But she's also had relationships with Spiderman, who right now is like barely 16, and she's like fucking 4 kids in or whatever. What else, man? She's been all over the place in the comics, man. I didn't think they were gonna bring her in, but
Story
I
wise,
think it's
line,
great.
right?
Huh?
Story. You said she was all over the place, and I mean,
In the
story-wise.
comics, yeah, in the
Okay,
comics, yeah,
cool.
she's all over. But then again, everybody's all over the place if you think about it, right? But like, I kind of. So we all remember what happened. Of course, if you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you remember that, of course, Mockingbird Bobby retires. And she retires with the other guy that's like her character, and they retire together and live happily ever after. I think they only get referenced like one time after that. So the idea is that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., even though it's technically kind of not canon, but not canon,
It's not.
but it is, but it's not.
Kevin Feige hates anything that's not under his umbrella. He hates it.
I know,
He hates
but
it.
it's still, they allowed it to work. And they used Coulson and Nick Fury and Sif. And Sif was used in like season 4, and it ended in season 5 or 6. So like, it's very difficult for them to be like, nah, well, that's not real. You know what I mean? Like,
It's Kevin Feige's world, bro. We're just
yeah, I
living in
know.
it.
Well, I mean, yeah,
He does
that's
what-
true.
He does what the fuck he wants.
That's true. But yeah, in that show, Mockingbird does retire also and goes and lives her life. So to know that,
Well, I guess we know where it went.
yeah, I was gonna say, would it be that far fetched that the character went off and lived a life and knew Clint Barton and got married to him and had kids? And no, it's not far fetched. I think it's cool. I think it's great. I think
Except
it's
Homegirl
interesting
is
because
weirdly enough
Mockingbird,
20 years older than she's supposed to be.
yeah, but she also plays an important role in the Secret Invasion.
Oh, she does.
Yeah, so she's actually one of like the first people that gets kidnapped and turned into a Skrull.
Yeah.
So there may be a possibility that this character
Leads into that.
and the entire family of Clint Barton are all Skrulls,
Oh, that would suck.
all the kids, which
That
would
would
fuck him up if that ended up.
Oh, dude, that would suck.
Yeah,
Could
that
you
would-
imagine?
yeah. Oh, dude, I can definitely imagine. 'Cause
Last
they-
time they just vanished and he turned into Ronin. Now imagine if he found out they're fucking scrolls.
and they're not even the real family, and they don't, and he still doesn't know where they're at.
Oh,
Yo,
dude.
hasn't Clint been through enough already, dude? Like, can we just
Dude,
give him a
bro.
break?
Though that's what
Can
makes
we,
perfect
can
storytelling.
we give him a break already, dude? Like, holy shit.
And you know what's really sad is that's kind of like the way it is in the comic book when you think about his character. His character goes through like literally the worst possible life ever.
Yeah, dude.
In fact, he goes out like
his
a
brother's
bitch
like a serial killer
because
too.
of Scarlet Witch. Because of Scarlet Witch, he goes out like a bitch. Like Scarlet Witch during I think the House of M.
dude, that's right, he does.
Yeah, you remember that shit?
Yeah.
There's a comic book called Avengers Disassembled. Wanda just imagines Vision to have a bomb in his body that just goes off and kills like fucking almost all the Avengers, or wipes out the tower and everybody's injured. And then that happens, and then all of a sudden the Kree, from Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel's movie, the Kree show up and they're like, "Yo, invasion time!" Like out of nowhere, after it's just shit's popping off. Clint is fucking killing a bunch of people just the way he always does. He's very good at it. Runs out of fucking arrows, and the only thing he can do is grab a Kree guy with a jetpack and fly him into the turbine of the spaceship and kills himself. And right before he kills himself, he's like, I'm not supposed to go out like this. Like he literally says that shit and then kills himself. Only later on in the House of M for Wanda to bring him back to life. And when everybody remembers, they're like, Clint, you're dead. And then he has a whole exponential situation where like he doesn't know if he's himself anymore. Like he has a really fucking hard life in the comics for being just a dude with like zero fucking powers. He goes through like the worst shit ever. Him and Peter Parker.
What I love even more is that like when people tell him that, he's like, "No, I'm not."
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm right here.
Yeah,
I can remember everything.
Like, bro, we saw you
like,
die.
no.
You're like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, you're dead and you're made up by the Wanda or fucking WandaVision. And then not only that, remember that when they during the incursions, when they take Captain America into the future, he's the first one to die.
Yeah.
He's the first one. And now not only that, he's the last one left in Old Man Logan's story.
And in Age of Ultron, that's just a fucking.
It's super wild. His storyline is so crazy, Brian.
Yeah,
I can't even
that guy is a fucking G, dude.
Dude. He's a G, dude. He's a G. And you know what? They gave him justice. The show is great. It's fantastic. 9 out of 10 for the entire season. I thought it was great. I thought it's up there. They gave him his dues. That's what they did. They gave him his dues. Like throughout all the film, even the character himself has been written in to be like, dude, I'm just a dude with sticks and arrows, like a bow and arrows. Like he always writes himself off. And even his wife, in one part, she's looking out the window, and it's Tony Stark and Captain America. Tony Stark is just a smart dude with an iron suit, and his wife, Mockingbird, is like, look at him, like gods amongst men. They're gods to us, and you're there, and you're their humanity.
Yeah,
and it's true. It's so true. Like he literally is the most grounded character out of all of them. Like if it wasn't for him, Wanda would never be Wanda. She would have never been the hero that she was.
Yeah, she
would have never snapped out of that shit. And literally, he only knew him for like a couple weeks, and he named his kid after him, or after Pietro. Like you know, it's just he's a very good character. I'm so sorry, Brian. I'm just gonna say like I'll never forget when he outsmarted Wanda, who has powers, where like you'll never sneak up on him twice.
Yeah.
And then he did it to the brother Quicksilver while he was in speed mode. He fucking surprised the shit out of him, shot the glass under him, and he's like, you didn't see that coming? Like he is a G, dude. Like he's up there. And he almost tanked Vision with an arrow.
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah, he stopped Vision. Stop Vision. That was crazy. So I'm sorry, Brian. What were you saying?
No, you're good. No, good. I love when you cook and shit like that. Now I was gonna say, just overall, like you said, this series was great, and I think that more than anything, it does attest to the fact that we've gotten since the beginning of January, we got WandaVision. We've gotten some really, really good acting with these Disney Plus series, all out. Whether you go from Olsen and WandaVision and what's the Vision, Paul Bettany, they did their fucking thing. And Falcon and Winter Soldier, dude, acting chops all off the books, like off the radar. And then Hawkeye, Loki, acting is off the charts all over the place, man. Good shit.
I gotta give a shout out to our people watching in Twitch. Thank you so much. Polar Knights, his comment is so funny. He's like, as a barber, I love this show. It's every stage of beard growth.
Beard growth.
I love it. Dude. Shout out, bro. Good. Thank you so much, man. And Country Cowboy, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Thank you so much
Merry
for
Christmas,
man, jumping in. We're talking right now of Hawkeye season finale. Overall, pretty good.
And you know that we don't have any. We don't have any like MCU properties or MCU shit until like
May 6th.
May.
Yeah,
like May. I'm excited. I'm good. Boba Fett's coming out.
For me, you know, like when you look at Hawkeye, you know, very much like how I was saying, was kind of like wrapping the bow on a lot of things. You know, you definitely got the bow wrapped on Hawkeye, right?
Okay,
you know, it was essentially him, you know, passing the reins on, but as well as, you know, not just him, but you finally have the reins officially passed to Yelena. You know, like this is now going to be her introduction, a true proper introduction into the MCU landscape. And then we're probably going to have Kate, you know, we're obviously setting up for the new Avengers, you know, or Young Avengers. What I love most is that, like, for me, the reason that I gave it a soft 9 was because, you know, we saw what happened with Echo. We kind of saw that to be a little bit predictable. At least I did. For me, as of late, like a lot of my stories that I want to have an emotional tie to, right? I had an emotional tie to Dune. I had an emotional tie to, you know, to Shang-Chi, to everything that I'm watching. You know, I'm looking for emotion in it. You know, if you're bland, if you're just telling a story just to tell it, all right, dude, cool. But like, you know, just give me emotion, give me something out of it. I want some substance, you know, not necessarily tangible, but I want some substance out of it. And
Echo,
you know, Echo was a beautiful character, beautiful character. What for me was like the selling point, and will continue to be the selling point, was the fight between Yelena and Clint, because you knew that Clint wasn't gonna really fight. He was just gonna defend himself, and you know, he was just gonna try and talk to her. Right,
he was ready.
And after a while,
he understood. You got it. He understood. Like in the middle of the fight, you understood that he understood what she needed to do. Yeah. So he's not gonna fight her. He's gonna let her get it all out. Like you need to get it out. Like he's Clint. Meanwhile, Clint is still in the process of getting it out. So
he's healing.
Got it. He's still healing. So he understood. If anyone were to understand where Yelena was coming from, it was him. Clint. It was fucking.
And
Clint.
It was the episode right before where, you know, he's looking at the plaque and he's like, you know, God, man, I really wish you were here. You know, and you know, I really need you.
That was
and I'm sorry. And it was a powerful episode. You know, it was a powerful thing. You know, and like, and that's why, like, you know, I give it the 9 and not that perfect 10. You know, but like that scene, for me, like, ties the bow on, you know, on not just Natasha, but it also ties it, you know, on Hawkeye, because like, okay, dude, like he's gotten a good part of his closure, and so has she. They can move forward. You know, I'm not going to say amicably, but you know, now they can both move forward with what they're going through, with what they've
fuck
been
that,
through.
bro. I want them to be best friends, bro.
Oh, they probably
best
will
friends.
be now.
I want them to be best friends. Fuck that, bro.
I want her over for Thanksgiving.
Listen.
I want that macaroni and sriracha.
We've been blowing a lot of smoke up this show's ass. All right, can I get like just a little bit of hate in, just a little bit?
Go for it, brother.
Yeah.
All right.
I got it.
All right. Thanks. I got the.
You'll go for it. I
got the green light. I got the green light. I'm going. Listen, I don't get this often, so I'm taking it. Kazi. What the fuck, bro? Why was it every time he was in an altercation, he would give the speech like, I'm gonna beat your ass, or I'm sorry I have to do this, and then just get tanked every fucking time?
Oh yeah.
There was no threat anytime Kazi was involved in a fight.
At all. He was just getting fucking pounded in every direction, man.
Yeah, he never won a fight. Not one.
Yeah. You know what? And going off of the idea of getting some cons out of this, right?
That's my only con.
Them going into the Echo story is very soft. I don't think they
What?
really gave us enough backstory because it
No.
literally ended right then when she confronted Kaz.
I'm not going to
You
say
literally
that
know
they
who
didn't.
killed her
That they didn't.
father.
I
No.
will agree on the soft. I will not agree on the we didn't get enough. We have a reason, and we have her reasoning going forward.
Well,
Kingpin's
okay,
not
yeah,
dead,
you get,
bro.
yeah, I get it. You get her Uncle Ben, right? You get the Uncle Ben
Yeah.
moment. You got the dad's dead, but the revenge story was the thing that killed it, right? Not killed it, but it brought it to life. And in the original story, it was Daredevil that killed her dad, right? Or
Yeah.
Kingpin used Daredevil and told him that was the story, which initiates the idea that you're going to get Echo, Daredevil, and then you get that relationship between both of them,
But
right?
just to cut you off, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
But with that being said, Daredevil does explain to Echo that what happened and that Kingpin is ultimately responsible, to which she goes and shoots him in the face, mirroring this episode, which is Daredevil Volume 2, number 15, and he's blind.
Look at you with the name drops,
And
Brian.
and he's blind for
Yeah.
an entire issue. So this is correlating directly to the source material. So there goes your
Right.
fucking show. She shoots him in the face, he becomes fucking blind. There goes your fucking Echo show.
Fair enough.
But I mean, look,
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
But
coming
she's-
through.
no, I
Yeah,
get it,
bro.
I get it. So the idea is like she's not technically shooting the Kingpin in the face. It'll start off with the look, I'm leaving, fuck off and leave me alone. I'm doing my own thing. I get it. That's not like it's not uncommon for them to do that with a street level character in the comics. That's literally the way Daredevil ended when he removes his mask and he's like, look at me. I'm fucking Charlie Cox. You said you were gonna go after me and fucking my lawyer friend, but I'm gonna tell you if you ever fuck with me, I'm gonna get your wife arrested and I'm gonna put her ass in jail. And Kingpin's like, Vanessa, or whatever, like, and then he just gives up. I get it. I get that part. But the only thing that I'm saying is that the thing that we're gonna probably end up getting is she will now become that vigilante. She will fight against the Kingpin's henchmen or whatever, and then be rolled into the Daredevil narrative in the Netflix show of whatever it left off, or at least some way. Do you feel that them removing the Daredevil character as the person who was the person that killed her father, even though it's not true, removes that really cool idea that would have been the turmoil in the first season of Echo, where she meets Daredevil, she's against him because of this, but then later resolves and then both go after Kingpin? Do you think that would have been a stronger story rather than it just be Echo going after Kingpin at the end, figuring it out in an episode?
Why can't you
Do
still
you
have
get what I'm
that?
saying?
No, I get it, but why can't you still have that? Just minus the fact that Daredevil killed her pops, because I mean, listen, they're at a point where they're gonna have to bring in Daredevil, and just the same way they brought in Kingpin, he was already established in the MCU. So why can't you bring in Daredevil the same way? He's already established in the MCU.
Oh yeah, he's already established. But all I'm saying is
Same.
that it's
So why
because
can't? So I'm saying, why can't you bring him in the same way? Why can't you just do that?
Well, I mean, no, I'm not saying that you can't, but I'm just saying, like, do you feel that the reason for Echo right now as an origin story is still strong enough to make her a vigilante into the next season or her own show? Because her situation's been resolved.
Well, if Kingpin's not dead, then it's not resolved.
Well,
She
I
wants
mean,
him dead. She shot him in the face, so she wants him dead. Like, she wants the person that killed her father dead.
but then if she chooses not to shoot him, then she chooses not to shoot him for a purpose, right? And then she's like, just leave me alone. That'll take 15 minutes of the first episode.
Well, I guess we have to see whether she shoots him or not. Because again,
Of course.
according to the
She's
source
not gonna shoot him.
material,
She's not going to shoot him.
according to the source material, she shoots him in the face. And
How's he going to come back from that?
And he goes blind. Well, according to the comics, he gets shot in the face by Echo, and he lives, and he's blind.
Just remember also that in the comic book, she was the original Ronin.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the original Ronin, and she runs that and becomes an Avenger, the West Coast Avenger. Like she does a lot of cool shit in the comics, man. Like
I love this. I love this character. I love the actress that plays her. I think she did an amazing job. So I don't care. honestly, I don't care what the fuck the
You know
storyline
what's
is.
even more
Just give me some
amazing
more
about this
shit, bro.
actress?
I'm with it.
This
What's
is
that?
her first acting gig.
Yeah, no, her first acting
This is
gig.
her first fucking acting
She
gig,
can't hear.
and
She's
she
got an
fucking
she's
killed
an
it, dude.
amputee. She killed this shit, bro.
She fucking killed it so badass.
Killed
They
it.
were even saying that some of the actors were so impressed by her because she was doing almost exactly what her character does in the comic book, like her actual character, where
Yeah.
she was copying mannerisms and copying people and learning things like on the fly. And people were like, dude, how in the fuck are you doing that? Like, it's so impressive on what she did for the character and how she brought it to life. Echo, the actress that portrayed Echo and brought her to life, Echo is an amazing character. I love the
Again.
way she portrays her. I love her innocence.
Yeah.
Even though that she is running with like a really crazy mob / gang, there's still like an innocence to her that it's more like most of her, I guess, like the way she comes to agreements or conversation is very common sensey. Like she'll be like, well, why did you do that? That's kind of stupid. Like you should have just done this. Like she's very like just witty. She's very just straight to the point. And I thought that was really, really good. I think she's going to play a very good dynamic in the series. I cannot wait to see her interact with Charlie Cox's Daredevil. Like, I think that's going to be an amazing show. I don't know why. I just think it's going to be an amazing show.
Yeah.
They really need to bring in, what's his, fucking Bullseye. Bullseye needs to be in that show against her. Like, I don't even know why, but she does.
And again, I think this is just speaking to the acting that's been portrayed in all of the Disney Plus shows. There hasn't been a weak spot in the act. Like you can't point to one weak spot in the acting wise.
Yeah.
In any of these shows. Like it's been great all the way around. So yeah.
All the way around. I think for me it's going to be a pretty solid 9. I know Triggs, you gave it a soft 9.
Yeah.
Brian, solid 9.
Solid.
Awesome. Very cool. Guys, very recommended. Make sure if you haven't gone to go see it, if you haven't seen the full entire season, go check it out. Disney Plus, Hawkeye season finale. Super amazing. Almost a 10 out of 10. Super fun to watch. The only thing I think that everybody was kind of disappointed was that Spider-Man didn't like swing over the tree at the end.
I was fine with it.
Yeah,
I'm Spider-Man out, dude. I'm Spider-Man out. I'm good. Let Hawkeye have his own thing.
Last question, not to be lingering too much on this because I do want to get into the last thing. I do want to get into that because we got a long talking point about that. How do you feel about Kate Bishop being the next Hawkeye in all the iterations of the movie? You think she's gonna be able to pull it off?
Let's do it. Yep.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Fucking 9 out of 9. 9.99. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Into the last part of our conversation. Guys, it's finally here. And boy has it had people in arms. It's being smashed by box out numbers by Spider-Man, of course. There's no way this movie's going to catch up to Spider-Man.
None.
Not at all. But I am at wit's end about this movie.
Yes, I love it when you're at wit's end. I love when you're at wit's end.
Yeah, I am at wit's end about this movie. We are going to be talking about The Matrix Resurrection. Is it a red pill or is it a blue pill?
Okay, wait. Before you guys start, I'm gonna just say to the people in the comments and to Triggs, I have not watched this movie. I don't care about spoilers. I did it to myself. I meant to watch it. I did not watch it, but I may just interject with a few questions here or there. But I want to hear. I want to hear you two gentlemen. I want to hear you two talk about this and where it lies in the whole spectrum of the Matrix.
Okay, so I'll get into a brief discussion. So we have the Matrix Resurrection. They've been debuting the trailers. Beautiful stuff. Everyone was hyper excited about it. They were waiting for all the cool Matrix stuff to come out. We really waited for it. It came in. And it was taken in 2 different ways. There's a lot of people that are like garbage. And then there's a small, I would say it's a little bit of a smaller amount of people that are like, it's truly amazing. It's still amazing storytelling. My opinion is I think it's still genius storytelling. I think it's still amazing, and
Wow, I honestly didn't expect that from you.
Yeah,
but okay,
and,
yeah, here we go.
yeah, that's why I am
You're
I'm
breaking the
still
mold
for
here.
it. I'm still for it. I think they did an amazing job, and I think it is a Trojan horse. And I do want to talk about it because, of course, I've heard it from a lot of people where they're saying that it's bad, and I can understand that because that's what it was portrayed to do. It was portrayed to do that to people. It was made in that way for an emotional purpose. So Triggs, I'm saying I think it's a masterful movie still. I think it's not, of course, everything I expected it to be. And the only reason why is because they were very open about not using the Matrix online storytelling. They didn't really go with that too much, even though it's very lightly talked about or lightly referenced. But overall, I thought it was a very good telling or retelling of a story in a different format. Triggs,
wait, before you hand it off to Triggs, scale of 1 to 10.
Okay, so scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give it like a high 8.
Okay.
Like a high 8. I'm not gonna give it a 9 or a 10. Definitely not a 9 or a 10.
Okay.
But I'm gonna give it a high 8. I'm gonna give it close to a 9, and the reason why is because I was telling you about it earlier, Brian. There's a lot of things that this movie did that a lot of other movies won't even take into consideration. Okay. So I'm not. It's not really a debate, but I do want to bring perspective to what I think what Lana Wachowski is trying to do with the story now.
Yeah.
So Triggs, I know you weren't impressed by it, right? I think I saw online you were kind of like,
okay. Yes and no. Okay. I'm gonna give it a very, very soft 8. And like a mild 7. Reason being, and I'm not gonna say that I was underwhelmed or that I had a completely different expectation of it. We weren't given a whole lot from the trailers to look forward to. But we had enough. Yeah, I know, man, dude. I was fucking.
I'll be right back.
Shit out of me, dude. But we had enough substance to at least grasp the overall gist of what we were probably going to see, right? Yeah. As far as trailers go, mother of God, these trailers were fucking A1, 10 out of 10s.
They're
Loved
crazy.
every one of them.
Yeah, the load up was everything we expected it to be.
Yeah, no, it really was. And I mean, it's fucking Marvel, take notes. Take notes. You want to know how to deliver a fucking trailer? Lana's the way to fucking deliver that trailer. Exactly what you need in 2.5 minutes. God damn, that's exactly what I wanted. It's exactly what I got. Sick, right? It didn't give me too much. It gave me enough substance to fucking chow down, and that's all I need. The movie, I'm not going to say I felt was a little bit lackluster, but I think I'm just kind of being a bit of a Matrix enthusiast where I wanted my wire fu to look a little bit prettier. That's just me, you know. I'm coming off of like a John Wick high, where his fights to me were a lot more entertaining in that movie, in that trilogy, than they were in this single movie, right? This man is obviously a fucking judoka, so why the fuck are we like having him go be very, very like animated with his fight sequences? It felt very forced. And now I get it, like his character is like, well, I'm rusty and, you know, I'm relearning and trying to remember these things. I get it. But, you know, like, Jesus, mother of God, man, I was not a fan of every single fight sequence. I thought the gunplay was a whole hell of a lot better than the fucking trilogy was. I loved the bit of the plot twist with the analyst, you know, character. I really, really loved that. I loved the Agent Smith plot twist as well. I was like, God damn, dude, okay. And you know what? They tugged at the right heartstrings. That's why I still give it a very, very high score. They tugged at the right heartstrings.
Now, before we start, because I know there's probably a lot of questions, and if you're in the comment section and you have questions about the movie, don't be afraid to ask. I'm super stupid about this stuff. I love The Matrix. I've been loving it since I was a child. I've been into the lure. I'm all over it. Brian.
Yo.
You remember before we started the show, all the stuff I was talking about the movie, right?
Of course.
Did Trigger not mention literally everything that I said
No,
that
he
they were
did.
trying to get as
He
the
definitely
reward.
as soon as he said they were tugging at the right heartstrings, I looked to you and you gave him the
Yep.
fingers up. So yeah, I saw that. I do understand. But wait before you go, Triggs, I'm gonna ask Triggs the same question I
What's
asked
coming?
you. So, do you remember the first time you saw the first
Matrix movie.
Matrix movie?
Yep.
Do you remember that feeling it gave you?
Yep.
And like you will never forget where you were, what it
Mhm.
made you feel, and you were just sitting there like, holy shit, this movie is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So as a person that has not seen the movie, I wanna ask someone that has seen the movie, does this movie even resemble that same feeling as that first movie gave you?
Oh man, I'm probably gonna dude, I'm probably gonna get some hate for this, but the reason I'm gonna say no is because there's been too much of a time difference between the trilogy to here to
Okay.
where like I've already experienced that. So to re-experience it again, it has to
It's
be a
hard.
very yeah. For
Hard.
one, it was going to be very hard, and you were going to need to have given me a much more deeper story than what you
Yeah.
gave me.
Yeah.
The
No hate,
reason
dude. That's
yeah,
exactly what I think the point of the whole story was.
the
I think that
reason
was
the reason
purposely done.
being, see, the reason that I really liked the Matrix is because it was very philosophically like driven.
Mm-hmm.
Very philosophically driven. Like, do you have a choice, or are you living your life in accordance to the surroundings that you're in, to the decisions that you've already made, or do you have free will? Like, do you have a choice, or are you just trying to understand the choice that you've already made? It was these things that, like when you first heard these things, you may have been too young to understand what they mean, but like
Yeah.
as an adult, you can appreciate those words a whole lot more.
Mhm.
And I felt that really was not hit on enough in here, that was just so central to the original trilogy.
Okay.
But then again, this is like I said, because it's purposely done that way, because when they were approached to revisit the Matrix, Lana really didn't want to redo it because she said the original trilogy and the story was a complete story.
Yes,
And
I don't
Warner Brothers
I
was
agree.
still about
I
it.
don't I'm not saying the connection wise. I mean the
But
feeling
the
wise.
vibe.
The
Now,
vibe wise. Yeah,
this
that's
this
what I'm
is what we
asking.
talked about
But
off
that's the
camera.
thing, bro. You can't have one without the other.
And the reason why is because what made the Matrix, the original one, impressive is it was original. Nothing else was like it. And it was very well thought
Good
out
point.
because it was someone's Mona Lisa.
Good point.
It was.
This is not their Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
This is a company telling them, yo, come back and make another Mona Lisa. We want money.
I think that's my only gripe when it comes to franchises like this, is that they don't treat everyone like that.
Exactly.
Everyone should be your Mona Lisa though, dog.
Yep.
Especially when it comes to the Matrix. That is something that is in such high regard when it comes to franchises. This
Brother,
is your first movie
that is a cinematically historic franchise that, like, that's up there with Star Wars. That's up there with Jurassic
Thank
Park.
you.
That's
Thank
up there.
you.
That's
Exactly.
up there. Like, I mean, you have movies that like defined, cinema.
Question.
And the very first Matrix movie is one of those movies.
Yes,
But like you said, it's like Jurassic Park. It's like Star Wars. What happened when they were forced to go back to that story?
Yeah, and they were trashed.
So my Trojan horse in this story is that Lana Wachowski knew exactly that problem and did the meta version of it and just turned it into a parody of itself.
Which you kind of have to at this point, like, I'm not going to exactly agree with
that's lazy. That's lazy. That's lazy. That's lazy. That's lazy.
Is it though? She's literally taking jabs at the people that are giving her money to do it, or is that not the biggest way of saying, look, when Leonardo
the people
da
that
Vinci,
are giving you money are not looking
Leonardo
for that.
da Vinci was hired by the people to paint the Sistine Chapel, he painted them all nude. And then what did they do? And they were like, yo, we don't want that. That's too much. So he did just a giant red
dick
stripe over all of everybody's wee-wee.
All right. So I don't know about that. But what I'm saying is that's not what the companies that are giving her money are looking for. That's not what the fans are looking for. They're looking for something that will give them the Matrix vibe, the Matrix connection. Like that's what they're looking for.
Okay.
They're
I
not
mean, I
looking
get
for
that.
they're not looking for dicks on the fucking wall, bro.
No, but you're looking for a Keanu Reeves.
They're not looking for dicks on the wall,
Wait,
dude.
but you're literally saying that you're looking for a Keanu Reeves to come out at fucking 60 years old and jump off walls and do backflips
No
and
one's
do all this
saying
crazy
that.
shit
No, that's
because
not
that's what the Matrix was in the beginning too.
all right, but you could have some type of resemblance of that, or at least the vibe or the feeling of that, to not piss off everyone. Like there has been like I'm sorry, but you are in the minority.
Oh, I'm definitely in the minority.
Like
And
you're
I'm
in the
good.
minority of people that
I
like this movie. So it's like I get where you're coming from, and I love where both of you guys are coming from as a person that has never seen the movie.
Mhm.
But what I'm saying is you can't say that it's cool for her to draw dicks on the wall and give middle fingers to people that are giving them money when there are people that are looking for this to be the savior of the franchise. Like you
Yes.
can't say that.
Because in the process of her giving the dicks, I mean, symbolistic
Metaphor. Yeah.
there is a coherent story to what the Matrix is still doing. There is still a backstory. They are building still the world of Zion, which isn't Zion anymore. It's the story where Niobe is 60 years old. Neo and Trinity are 60.
That bitch
20
is
years
80.
younger. Yeah.
That bitch is 80.
She's 80 years old.
That bitch is 80.
There is still a coherent story to where at the ending of the original Matrix, you asked, well, whatever happened to Neo? You knew Trinity died. Why isn't anybody being like, whoa, Trinity died? Why is she in this film? You know, why is Seraph, the little girl, so important? In fact, let me ask you, being a fan of the original series, why was the father of Seraph so important? Or Sati. The little girl with the oracle, remember? Do you remember the train station? Brian, do you remember the train station?
Vaguely.
Okay, in the original story, I believe in part 2, Reloaded, Neo wakes up in a train station where he's placed there by the Merovingian.
Yeah.
And this tall dude that owns the trains is like, you're going to stay in this fucking train station. I ain't going to let you in. And an Indian man helps him out. The third movie, right? And an Indian man helps him out, gets him on the train.
So is this the third one or the second one? The third one.
I think it's the third movie.
Okay.
So
I just finished rewatching the trilogy, so this is why like it's very fresh for me.
So what was the reason for the Indian guy?
I don't know. Tell me.
Well, he's a person that creates algorithms in the Matrix for programs to be able to escape a certain power difference. Okay. He's the person that creates the energy cells that they put the people in.
Okay.
But in the original movie, he worked with this man named the Architect, which is the old man in the chair with the pin, with all the televisions. That one person believed in variables, understanding variables, and then making sure that there was a balance in humanity. People were able to live their lives freely, just as they didn't know about the Matrix. They could just go through their day.
Is that the tie-in between this movie and that? Is that the tie-in? I'm lost. You've lost me. Like, where are you going with this?
I'm just explaining how there's still a backstory. Because right now, the only thing that the dicks on the wall that you know of is that that he's back in the Matrix and all of it's just a joke and everything sucks. But what about the backstory, the real world? What about that? What about that's going on? What happened to Neo and Trinity outside of the Matrix at the end when he sacrifices himself?
Yeah.
Like what happens? There is coherently a story there that is way different than we assumed it was going to be. The way we look at robots is not the way that we assumed it was.
So then not to cut you off, why not take a serious deep dive into that as opposed to the parody version that I'm hearing we got?
No.
Honestly, there is a very serious reason.
Yeah, they did.
There is a very serious reason as to that particular dynamic. Niobe's character really hits it on the nose.
I'm sorry, it's because Vince asked what's better, Dune or the Matrix Resurrection. Dune is beautiful. Like it's just cinematically, it's a masterpiece.
Dude, I'll do lines of Dune all day. I have a very hard time smoking Resurrections right now. But look, dude, the thing is that like, man, you know, and I try and stay really objective about things, right? And my objectivity is stemmed from being let down so much with a lot of projects. So I come into Matrix Resurrection with my hopes not very high. So I was not let down whatsoever. I thought that there was a very, very beautiful representation of the meshing of man and machine, and you'll see that when you see Matrix Resurrections. But Niobe's character is very jaded now. Very,
Jada
very
Pinkett Smith.
Yeah, dude, she's very jaded now, and reasonably so. She was a warrior her whole life, and fighting is really what she knows, right? It's what she's good at. It's what she does. So fighting for the protection of the city that she, for the city that she has currently is the only thing that she gives a shit about. And
peace, keeping the peace.
Yeah, and that's why it's like I said, it tugs at the right heartstrings, but you have to go into it knowing that like the expectations that you should have, while completely founded, you may not find that they're living up to them. I went into this, like I said, with my hopes not very high, because yeah, dude, Keanu's hitting 60. Same thing with Carrie-Anne Moss. There is a weird twist at the end that I was not a fan of, but I understood why they went that direction. Because like Brian's already, pretty much said like, okay, dude, I'm pretty okay with the spoilers. Is that like now essentially Trinity has the exact same influence / powers of the one. That one to me was like, okay.
Brian, remember I talked about that too, right?
Out of left field, but sure.
We talked about that, yeah.
I was like very out of left field, but sure, I understand why.
And I dig that. Like I'm here for that actually. Like that's cool.
And that's fair. It is because like some people, like a lot of people are like, bro, with the bond that she has with Neo, like how is it that like he hasn't rubbed off on her? How his code hasn't rubbed off on her code? Why is it that only Agent Smith's code was directly affected with Neo's and this, that, and the other, like the dichotomy of man, the the good and the evil, the choice between the understanding of the choice, these things. Like I said, I loved the original trilogy because it was very, very philosophically driven. That's why I love Dune so much, because it's very philosophically driven. It makes you think, it makes you feel on a very, very powerful level. Right. Like it makes you look at your life like, God damn, dude, am I living my life, or am I just living my life in accordance of decisions that I think I've made, or am I just trying to understand what I've done up until now? And that's why I felt like Matrix was a little bit lackluster for me, because those particular philosophies were not there, or not there enough for me, at least. Yeah. But it was still a beautiful movie. It tugged at the right heartstrings. It tugged at him at the right time. Bugs, fucking what's her face?
Catherine something.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal actress. She did great in Iron Fist. I mean, if anything, she saved that show for as trash as it was. Yep. She was amazing as Colleen Wing. She's a gorgeous woman. And she does all of her, a lot of her own stunts. Keanu's a fucking jackhammer who just is action. And he very well may have just been like, hey, you know what? I can't really go all that hard with this one because John Wick 4 has kind of got all of.
I was gonna say, dude, like we got to give him a break, dude. He needs a break.
And I agree.
He needs a break.
Agree. No,
that's one of the biggest gripes that a lot of people are talking about.
But see, like that's the reason why that's the one thing that I won't use that. I won't use that.
Yeah,
I won't use that because
which is
fucking
fair.
John Wick, dude.
Yeah,
like, he just gave you like 8 years of fucking just straight action movies, dude. Like between now a Matrix movie and all the fucking John Wick movies, like he's been giving you nothing but action movies for like the past like 7 years. So I will never take.
I think he's only done one movie where it wasn't entirely action driven.
Bill and Ted, right?
And no one gave a shit about that movie.
No. It was the one with Winona Ryder, where like he's like on a fucking train and they're just trying to get somewhere. And
well, like there's that one. There's also the Asian movie that he did where he played the funny boyfriend. There's also SpongeBob. Like
there was
he
also
came out a lot of shit.
Siberia. There was Siberia, and that was a fucked up movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was slightly action driven because he kills a lot of dudes. He's weirdly good with shooting people in that movie, but he's a fucking diamond dealer.
Mhm.
And then dies at the end anyway. You know, it was. I mean, granted, yes, it's action-esque, but you know, like
Listen, as far as I'm concerned, Keanu Reeves is damn near close to God to me, bro. He can't do any wrong. I'm only watching this movie because of him anyway. So it's like there's nothing you can say that'll deter me from watching the movie. I will see it.
Honestly, you need to watch the movie. I
will definitely see it.
I'm not going to recommend it.
No, it's fine.
Yeah,
I like to give pushback to Chris and just get you guys' opinions on the shit. And because I want to see I want to see where you guys lie. I know you guys really love, or I know at least Chris loves the lore of the Matrix. So I really want to pick his brain. Yeah, I want to pick his brain. I want to pick his brain, and I actually really want to know how he feels about the way that this was portrayed. Now, as John has said, there is a post-credit scene. Do you guys care to talk about it, or have you guys seen it?
It's not what you think it is.
So dumb, dude.
Yeah, it's not. What you
was
think
it dumb? Oh
no, this is what I told you. It's the think tank. It's the group of people talking about what they're going to do for the Matrix.
Oh, that was the post. I didn't know it was the post-credit scene.
Yeah, they just come out and it's literally them just speaking meta about the way that they're going to make the Matrix 4.
Gotcha.
But the thing is
you did say that.
What it is the movie is kind of a parody of itself in half of it, because that half is what the Matrix is. It's our simulation. There's even a part, like I told you, where they're discussing a part and they even mention verbatim Warner Brothers. Like, Warner Brothers gave us the okay, we're gonna go ahead and do the Matrix 4. When he said that, I was like, what the fuck? Did they just do that? Like, how did what? And that was the effect that it was supposed to do, is that it was supposed to portray my reality in their world. Now, again, John even said it in the comments where he's like, I was looking for something like Bullet Time. Remember, I talked about that also. Yes. And they did that, but it's not Bullet Time. Bullet Time at that moment in history and cinematic history had never been done before. After the Matrix did it, everyone else did it. Right now, the cinematic thing that they just did is 80% of this movie, about 87% of this movie is made with the Unreal Engine.
Yeah, and it was badass.
Like, there literally is the scene when they're in the sandbox and he's talking to Morpheus.
So everyone that's not listening,
background is white. Huh?
For everyone that's listening, do you want to explain what that is?
The Unreal Engine is literally a CG making software that literally is like revolutionary. They're literally making the metaverse out of it, the sandbox or the metaverse. It's literally, it almost makes video game design look human. I mean, dude, look, watch. Anybody that's out there seeing the movie, I guarantee you didn't know that when Neo is right before the Kung Fu scene, right before him and Morpheus fight, they go back to the sandbox or the whatever they call it, the desert. And they're in the area where it's the little TV and the white background and on all that stuff. I guarantee that no one knew that those people in that shot were the CG characters from Unreal. That wasn't Keanu Reeves, and that wasn't the actor playing Morpheus. Those were literally the CG characters.
D, what's up, bro?
Up close and personal. What's up, D? How's it going, brother?
Love you, bro.
That was literally them up close and personal, all 100% CG. And I guarantee no one saw that. And the reason why is because, again, what you don't know also is that every scene that is showing New York City is Unreal Engine. All of it, the entire scene of when they're inside the simulation of the Matrix is the Unreal Engine. That is fucking amazing. I guarantee, look, we're going to figure this out, and I know it's coming, and they haven't even said it yet. If they do this, it'll blow my fucking mind. The ending scene when they are in the coffee shop, right, Trigger? You remember this, right? Mm-hmm. And all the cops are there, and it's Trinity about to fucking Hulk out and get her powers or come back. And Neil Patrick Harris is there, and they're surrounded by, dude, how many cops would you say are in that room?
At least, and I mean, a good 40 to 50.
Would it blow your fucking mind if there was only like 3 actors in that scene in real life?
I would laugh. I would be like, oh man, we're getting real
dude,
good.
That's fucking epic, dude. And if there was just them doing like just movements and there was no one really there.
Yeah, that would be cool.
would that make you go back and be like, holy shit, like it was all a simulation?
Yes and no, but only because I know the capabilities of Unreal Engine 5. Like I keep up with Unreal Engine and its progress. You know, me just being a tech guy. I'm not gonna say that I would be overly impressed, but it wouldn't I'm not saying that I wouldn't be impressed. I'm just saying that I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be like, sick, dude, this is getting good now.
But you see how I say it's like a Trojan horse, where you're gonna come back later on and you're gonna come back to the stuff and be like, holy shit, like I didn't realize that. That's amazing. The only thing that I felt was very like I did not like in the sense of an effect was the speed thing that what's his face was doing during that monologue.
Fair enough.
There's a scene where I was gonna say John Wick. There's a scene where Neo goes back to talk to Trinity, right, Brian? Yeah. And in that process, he goes to, because she's a motorcycle mechanic. He goes to her shop, and Neil Patrick Harris is there. And he then slows down time and he starts running around the room and doing shit. And for some reason, it reminded me of this old movie called Warriors of Virtue.
Oh, I love that movie.
Do you remember that one? It was like a bunch of kangaroos that were like the Ninja Turtles.
I fucking love that movie.
Did you ever see that when you were a kid?
Hell no.
Dude, it's so
I missed that one.
Good, dude.
Wait, what?
It's not very good. It's good, but
no. What was the name?
Warriors of Virtue.
Yeah, dude, that movie is a fucking one, bro.
It was literally on the tails of like Ninja Turtles.
No, it's not.
So wait, why did it remind me of that movie? Because it's hard to move in those suits.
Oh yeah, dude.
So during the fight scenes, they slow mode. They did it by frames, and it was almost done like if they were shooting in like, I don't know, like if they were shooting in 360K, but they had to slow the frame rate down, and they just couldn't because there's missing frames in between. So it's just very janky, like pop to scenes. Do you see it yet, Brian?
I'm looking at it. It's like an English movie, like a British.
No.
There's a bunch of kangaroo guys. Like they're fucking. They look like the Ninja Turtles. It's called Warriors of Virtue.
I'm looking at it.
Brian, do you have Amazon? Sorry, do you have YouTube Premium?
Yeah, I do.
It's on YouTube Premium for free.
Yeah, you're gonna watch that movie tonight. You're gonna hit us up. You're gonna be like, "Why the fuck did I watch this?" And then you're gonna be like, "I would have loved this as a kid. Not now, though."
It's probably like the third episode in a row that you're setting me up for failure. We're watching.
No, it's not that bad.
Brother, I'm sending you this movie right now, Brian.
We're gonna watch it all together right now.
I'm hosting a
watch
party, my guy.
Watch along. We should do it.
Watch along.
Motherfucker, I'm having a fucking watch party right now, brother.
Vince Weaver's seen it.
Or
my guy.
Listen, guys. I looked up this movie, and the first movie that came up as associated with it is Three Ninjas, the trilogy.
Yeah, it's around that time.
Okay,
it's around that time. So you get the idea, you get the gist of it, right?
He sent me the movie. Yeah, I got it.
Damn right, I sent you the movie.
Chingo, dude. But during that time, when they're doing the fight scenes, you know that the characters and the actors in the suits can move and do the martial arts.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they use this weird like slow-mo special effect, and it's almost the exact same thing in the Matrix Resurrection. And I was not impressed by it. I was like, this is really bad. I did not like it. Yeah. The monologue.
For me, I thought the wire fu was very lacking. I was like, brother, you don't need a 60-year-old man doing wire fu.
But that's the thing, right?
Yeah, at this point, you don't need that though.
Yeah,
but hold on. But there's a point behind it too. For Neo, you don't need it. But all the younger actors did an amazing job. But that's the thing, is that it's their generation now.
Yeah.
It's their generation. All of Keanu Reeves' characters that were in the film, they're all dead except for Niobe. Niobe is like 90 years old. She's super old. Mm-hmm. So, but Neo and Trinity have been aged down because they've been modified by the robots. And the thing is what's crazy, and this is what I was talking about, is we delegate this idea when it comes to these movies that robots are robots, but they're not. These creatures are sentient. What do I mean by sentient? Is that what Lana Wachowski wrote at the end of the story is that the boat that takes Neo away, that's Neil Patrick Harris's body out of the Matrix. And he saw the value and the power that Neo could portray and use with his powers. And he's like, yo, if I can double this, we can double the amount of power. and he says in the film, and it's so crazy to hear him say it because you don't think of it that way, that he goes to the higher up robots and he asks them and he brings it to their attention that he can get it done. But he says it himself, like, but it's going to cost me millions. It's going to cost me about the same amount as a house. What the fuck does that mean between robots?
Can I ask you a question?
You go for it.
So just imagine you watching Dragon Ball, right?
Wait, God, which one? Oh, God damn it. Are you talking about
Any
Evolution?
of it.
Oh,
Just
okay.
no, not the
I thought
movie.
you were
No.
But you're gonna reference that movie for again. I was like, oh no, not
Why
again.
would you
Just
subject me to
imagine.
that, dude?
Right, just imagine that you're watching Dragon Ball, any of the Dragon Ball anime, right?
Yeah.
And you have Goku as like the fucking one. And then in an alternate universe, Vegeta turns out to be
The one.
the one.
Yeah, the strongest character or whatnot.
Is that what I'm dealing with? Where like you have been grown to know that Neo has been the one. And now in this movie, they're trying to deprogram
They're
you
deconstructing the idea of the hero story.
of that this
It's
guy is
Shakespearean,
no
it's
longer the one.
It's
Now-
not that he's no longer the one.
He's just
It's
not
that
the one
it's
right now.
romanticizing the idea that there has to be a one. Again,
Okay.
the Oracle said it at the very beginning of the movie. Sorry, dude, you're not. You're not the one. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because the path of the one is many. Many have taken the path of the one. So let me ask you this. You guys saw the original movies and you guys remember them. How can there be Neo the one, but you have Seraph the one that protects the Oracle? How? And then you have the kid who's the one who jacked himself out of the Matrix by committing suicide. How can you have 3 ones that all have a purpose? It doesn't make sense because of the fact that if you're able to believe, then you're able to break the code of the Matrix. This goes off of what Trigger was saying. The philosophical idea, the spiritual idea is that in religion, if you believe in God enough, if you have doubt the size of a mustard seed, you can't do it. But if you have faith, you can move mountains. It's the idea of believing. It wasn't the idea that Neo was the one. It's that he had to believe he was the one. But that's the thing. And we even talked about this earlier. Morpheus was just as close as Neo to be the one. But he believed in the philosophy that there was a purposeful one person. So he never believed himself that he could be it also.
So is he, and again, I will plan to watch this movie, but does he still kind of even sort of resemble the closeness to the one as he did prior, or he's just so far away from that?
The thing is the way that he's able to perpetrate that power is because of the love between him and Trinity.
Okay.
Is that he believes in their love enough so much that together they can conquer all.
No. I don't mean Neo. I'm talking about Morpheus. You said Morpheus. You said Morpheus. You said Morpheus was like that close away from being
that was
before.
Fishburne's Morpheus when he was alive.
This one is nowhere near.
This one is literally written, and he's just a tool. He's literally just the muscle. Like he's written off in such a weird way, and it's so sad. But it perpetrates the idea of what happened to his character. It's because the reason why is because there's 2 stories, which is the online story and then the one from the movie. They didn't go with the one from the movie. I mean, they didn't go with the one from the online story, where he believed that Neo was still alive and that he needed to go find him. And then he's assassinated by one of Cypher's cultists. That's the other problem, is they don't reference Cypher's cult, which is the guy in the first movie that's like, I like the taste of steak. Fuck Morpheus. Fuck all those dudes. That guy has a cult because he portrays the people that do not give a shit about the war. They don't want to be out there. They would rather stay in the Matrix. Yeah. And that's a point too. That's a huge point in this movie where people are like, there's even a point at the ending of the movie where they're like, well, what if Trinity's happy? Like, what if she at the very end, she was just like, hey, you know what? Like, yo, I love you, but I don't like that world. I have 2 kids and I have a husband here, bike shop. I got the life here. I'm happy. Like every day I wake up happy. I just don't like to be called Tiff or whatever her fucking name is in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, what if she doesn't wake up, or what if she does wake up and she's like, oh, but fuck that life, dude. Like, I like this place. Like, the food tastes better here. Yeah. Like, you would have to assume that in that world there are people like that. But what happens is it's almost told and portrayed that people weren't given that opportunity after Neo won. At the end of the trilogy, the moment it ends, the analyst takes over and does the thing, rebuilds the Matrix, and makes it to where he understands that human emotions, creates more power. Mm-hmm. So it makes humans a stronger battery. So then all he does is he creates worlds where people are either super happy or super fucking bummed out. That's it. That's why Neo, he's got the worst fucking life ever, but Trinity has the most beautiful life. Mm-hmm. Like, Neo hates his fucking life. Like, he hates it so bad that he writes a construct of Morpheus to pull him out. Like, he created the construct of Morpheus in a previous alteration of the Matrix, one of the games that he perpetrated. So, like, it's super crazy. Like, I think the story is masterful still, mm-hmm. because it's so much like to take, and it's like you said, like Lawrence Fishburne's character of Morpheus had huge growth, and the entire thing was for people to be completely free. But then what happens? The point. That was he frees everyone, and they vote him into a point of power. Mm-hmm. They point him into a position of chancellor of people of Zion. He didn't want that. He died unhappy. Morpheus died unhappy. Yeah. So he didn't die assassinated as a hero like the way he is on the online story, perpetrating the story of the hero's journey of finding the like Trigger said, where he wanted to have this like, I want to see the hero fall and come back, where you have Neo sacrifice himself, but for some reason you just feel he's still out there. And I need to know the truth. That was Morpheus's life. And then he's murdered in the middle of it, because when he starts doing that, people think he's going crazy because he's just going off on missions by himself. Where in the story now, Morpheus is given the position of something he would hate the most. Is where now he's the person that's in charge of everyone when he just freed them from captivity. Yeah. That's a very Shakespearean part for Morpheus's role. If you think about it, that's masterful writing for his character. And that beats the question of, oh, why is this dude Morpheus? That sucks. But then it makes proper sense that Niobe, God damn it. Niobe does not give a shit that that's a younger version of Morpheus. She doesn't even acknowledge him. She doesn't give a shit about him. Right? Trigger?
So, you know,
she doesn't acknowledge the Morpheus kid.
No, she really doesn't. But she also knows that, like, he's not real, right?
Exactly. He's just a construct.
Yeah, like he's he's a modal as they're called.
Wait, okay, but, Brian, I have to explain that though, because you don't even know that part. Yeah. So what they've done is 60 years in the future in the Matrix in Zion.
Don't tell me Morpheus isn't real.
Wait, no. Wait, hold on, man. Even crazier than that. What they found a way to do is they found a way to use something like nanotechnology to bring the programs from the Matrix into the real world. But they're like little marbles, like little metal marbles that look like.
Do you remember how Deus Ex Machina was portrayed in the third Matrix movie? It was just like a bunch of like little balls and
like
baby faces.
Yeah.
Like that. Think of that, except smaller.
Gotcha.
So then you can get the characters that, like Agent Smith, like, you know how he had to possess someone?
Yeah.
Like now he can just be the little robots and he can come into the real world
and fuck with stuff.
Okay. But the thing is now there's programs, like anything, any of them, any of the programs can do it as long as they agree to it and they abide by the IO rules, because there's still a diplomatic agreement between IO and the robots.
I got you.
And it's very cool because then you see that there's a relationship between human and machine. Mm-hmm. In IO, in the Zion world, in the other world, you see that human beings are prospering in the role of Niobe's life.
Yeah.
Dude, there's even a part where they give Neo a strawberry outside of the Matrix and he eats it in the real world. And you're kind of like, whoa, how the fuck did they do that? And it's one of the scientists who I think is romantically involved with Niobe. And then it's a female, another older female. And then of course
Sweet.
I got that vibe
programs. You got that vibe too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a little handsy with each other at the end, but it's okay. It's not in bad taste. It's not in bad taste. But she's working alongside a program who's helping people create food in Io, because that's the name of their new Zion. It's really, really rich in storytelling on the outside. But then again, Niobe does not want to risk ruining the world because Neo wants to go save an imaginary idea that Trinity's still alive. It has a lot of depth. Straight up, Trigger. Let me ask you.
Yep.
There's two important characters that come out so briefly, but it makes no sense for them not to want to be able to create more stories. One, we get a reprise of the Merovingian.
Yeah.
And then he leaves in such a weird way.
Yeah.
He literally theatrically monologues on top of like a scaffolding, and it sounds like a theater play, and then he just runs away and no one stops him. Like, but he's like you know what he kind of reminds me of? Lawrence Fishburne's character in John Wick.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when he's like the homeless guy that like controls all the homeless people or whatever, because they're like a mob or some shit.
Yeah, he's called the Bowery King.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's what he reminded me of.
But
there was a really important concept where we always thought that there was an idea that the Merovingian was going to come back and be like the ultimate devil, right? Like he was going to be, because he was a really big villain in the original stories.
Yes,
huge villain, but he lost his entire empire, and he kind of goes away like just like nothing. Which is, I wasn't very taken by that. Triggs, how did you feel about that? Do you feel like there's a possibility for a part 2 with that?
There would need to be.
Yeah, because it just felt undone, right?
To be. Yeah.
And the other one too is Christina Ricci.
So Chris was telling
Adams,
me that
she's the chick that's talking to him with the blonde hair. She looks like Cruella DeVille.
Did you know who that was, Triggs?
Yeah,
that was Christina Ricci.
What were your thoughts about her showing up, just popping out
for like fucking 1 minute?
Chick?
I was kind of like, oh man, well, I love Christina Ricci, right? Like that, like homegirl. I mean, she's gonna be 80 years old and still gorgeous as fuck.
Well, check this out. If anybody didn't recognize it, that's Wednesday Addams, Black Snake Moan, probably one of the most hottest people on the planet. I swear to God.
Yeah,
fucking hands down, one of the most.
That woman has aged like whiskey. God damn.
She is in the movie. She portrays one of the executives that's explaining the Matrix MIV, which is they're talking about the Matrix 4. Then later on, when Neo in the previous, when Bug sees him jump off the building, she's also at that party. Like she's in the background and she's laughing that he's jumping off. So I think she's going to be a major player in an upcoming film. I don't think they're going to do a trilogy. I think they're going to do a duo, which is the Neo and Trinity movie, like them two.
So no trilogy.
I don't think it's going to be a trilogy. I don't think they need it. I think they're going to just do 2. And I think it's cool too, because you're expecting a trilogy because movies just do trilogies all the time.
Yeah.
But the story of Neo and Trinity, it's based on 2 people. So for them to do a solid movie and have that like symbolism, 2 movies, one of them that's negative and then the other one that's positive. Gotcha. Yeah, I think that would be perfect. I don't know why, like just in my head, thinking out of the box. I think that's a really great way that they could approach it. The Christina Ricci character though, and I don't know if this means anything, but you guys out there, I want to introduce you guys to this. If you guys want to do a little bit of research, this is always the fun part of the Matrix. Her name is Gwen de Vere, which is very, very close to Guinevere, King Arthur's wife.
Yes, who ran away.
I don't know.
This is Christina Ricci's
character, her name, and it's not even mentioned in the story. It's in the credits.
Okay.
But her name is Gwen de Vere, like de Vere, like with Cruella DeVille. So it's Gwen de Vere, but it's very close to Guinevere. which I don't know if you can take that and kind of like look at the backstory of King Arthur and see what she did. I think she hooked up with Sir Lancelot. I think she
ran
did
away
like
with
some
him.
very, very things behind his back.
Yeah, she ran away with him.
Yeah, so there is some backstory, and that might give us a hint to what we're looking at her character for the next film. Because if we're going into the next film, we're going into the next film knowing that Trinity and Neo are going in, and they're going to be kind of iterating their own Matrix above the Analyst, which is the new, I guess, god of the Matrix. They're going to try to go in and kind of fuck with it.
He's the new architect, essentially,
but he's more vulgar and aggressive compared to the other guy. So
and I loved it. I loved that particular like aspect of him because he's very outspoken. You know, the original architect was extremely analytical, right? You know, as per the name, implying. But the Analyst was a lot more grounded, and I love that because it was kind of like one of those like, yeah, you're gonna do these things, cool. Well, guess what? The people in the Matrix, they like what I'm doing. Obviously, they like it. So whatever it is, the fuck you guys are gonna go do.
Yeah, what are you gonna do now if people like this shit, right?
Yeah, he's like, well, I mean, like all of your efforts are futile, and so they're like, shit, if it's futile or not, dude, we're gonna do it anyway.
And my last couple of questions, and this of course goes out to people in the audience, people in the comment section that are listening in. One, the story still has not explained to us, even from the original trilogies, how Neo has powers outside of the Matrix in Zion. They still have not explained that. And then this question to me and this story that does not make sense, that really fucking hurts my brain, is why is it when he takes the red pill, he automatically sees the Analyst, and the Analyst is fucking like, Thomas? What are you doing here? Like, he's surprised. So my question is there a possibility that Thomas Anderson is just a crazy motherfucker and none of this is real? And the Analyst is literally a real human being trying to help this guy out. And at that moment when he popped the red pill and he reached to pull him out, he pulled him to save him from the sociopathic ideas that he gets, to pull him out because of the way that he explains earlier that he imagines the world around him to be real.
Let me ask you a question. As someone that is,
that is nuts. I'm so sorry, but that blows my mind.
No, and it should, because as somebody that has been
a fan of the series,
such a fan of the lore.
Those are my two craziest fucking.
And such, like, are you scared that could be a reality?
Yes.
That this could all be a fucking dream, or all could be a fucking.
Can you imagine?
All could be just in his fucking head, and then all of it is.
Can you imagine that the movie, The Matrix, this new trilogy ends that it's just like him with like a tumor, and he's in bed, and Morpheus is the doctor.
That's the orderly. No, he's the orderly. He's the orderly,
yeah, dude. And like Trinity is like the nurse.
The nurse.
And fucking the Analyst. The Analyst is the doctor.
I hope to God for your sake,
dude.
I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you fucking blow a fuse and blow a gasket. And
you know what? If they did that, that would be the biggest troll in my whole life, dude. Ever. That would be the biggest, craziest thing. And that would destroy cinema history like in a heartbeat. That would be masterful too, in a way. That would be like, dude,
punch somebody.
God,
in
dude.
the mouth.
But isn't that deep down inside what cinema should do? It should make you emotionally involved.
Not to that. That's
not to pull the rug out from under you like that.
I don't know because it goes against the norm. It just goes against the norm. And
brother,
that's the beauty of it.
There's a far better way to go against the norm.
I was gonna say, listen, if that's what you think is going against the norm, I'll leave you to your listen.
I'm just saying, would I like it?
I'm
no.
staying far the fuck away from that.
Would I like it? No. But it would be so original that it would fuck with people for years, dude.
I do.
That would be the end of her career.
No, I don't think so.
Right?
I don't know. I do dig it because I am usually on the line of the abstract. I love that just to fuck people and just to get the people going. But I think that again, we're speaking of a franchise that is on the same ranks as a Star Wars
Yeah,
and
huge.
Jurassic Park. It's too big at this point. You can't do it. If it was a lesser of a franchise, yeah, fucking go for it. Like do it all day.
Okay, I
This
gotta ask a
one
question.
is
It's gonna be the last question before we flip out and take off. Trigger.
Yo,
Now that we've had this conversation and I've explained a little bit more depth, do you feel a little bit different now that we're thinking about it?
nope.
Do you still feel the same?
Yep.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's crazy, dude. I
no,
thought
and-
at
and,
least a little bit more of a breakdown would have been like, oh, okay, cool. I could see that. I could see that.
No, I'm like, I'm not. It's not because of like I'm digging my heels in or anything like that. You know, like nope. You know, like I said, you know, I came at this as a very, very objective standpoint, and so like my standpoints are the reason, and like as I've listed them, they are the way that they are because like I looked at this as like not just a fan, but I also looked at this as somebody who's like, okay, my expectations for this aren't all that high to begin with either, you know, and so like I'm going in this as like a two-part person, you know, like somebody who loves this franchise and somebody who could have possibly been watching it for the first time. Narratively, it was a little bit lacking, but it tugged at the right heartstrings. It also tugged at them at the right time. There was a lot of twists and turns that you don't get all that often, but I'm glad that I did get them. You saw a lot of references to old things that, you know, happened in the Matrix. You know, I loved all of the scenes where they showed you
Little flashbacks.
The flashbacks.
They're
of the
fucking
movie.
Brian.
Yeah, they're
you're gonna love that, dude.
They're gorgeous.
You're gonna love
gorgeous.
that, Brian.
You know, you can't not appreciate.
They do like little tips of the hats to the old movies where they do little flashbacks when someone remembers a specific thing. Like they're beautifully executed.
Yeah,
like,
they really are.
Beautifully brilliant way to do it.
And you know, and that's why, like, you know, that's why like that's kind of why I also harp on, you know, the you know, the philosophy part. You know, the philosophical aspect just wasn't there. You have, right, like I said, at least in my opinion, you had a guy who's essentially having an existential crisis, who is being, you know, analyzed by a psychologist, and you know, he's giving you very, very analytical, you know, and very medically accurate, you know, doctrine as to like why Neo feels the way that he does, and you know, why he's reacting to certain things the way that he is, and that it's all okay, you know, and you know, his episodes are, you know, completely within the norm, and you know, as terrible as they are, you know, he has them under control, but you see him slipping in and out, you know, it's like, oh my god, you know, and that's the like, that was kind of like it for like the philosophical part, like, oh well, at what point in my life did I realize I was no longer in the Matrix, or that I was, you know, in the Matrix, blah blah blah. Yeah, you know, you have these things that just aren't there for me, and they needed to have
just a little bit more.
Had this really feel like a Matrix movie.
Excellent. Okay, so guys, before we go, I have one little thing to say. Brian.
Yo.
Oh, you can't answer this because you haven't seen it yet. Trigger.
I can answer it. Fuck it.
Okay. Okay, fuck it. I'm gonna give it to you right now.
Motherfucker.
Red pill or blue pill?
Oh.
Now that you've heard a disposition from both sides.
Red pill.
Red pill. And Trigger. Now that you've gone into the movie and experienced what it had to offer. Red pill or blue pill?
You know, I'm on the other side, dude. I'm blue pill.
I'm red pill.
I'm really red pill. I'm super red pill. I'm taking the whole fucking case. I'm ODing on red pill.
He's walking out.
I'm ODing on red pill.
Red
guys
pill.
in the comment section.
Would I take a red or a blue pill?
No, I'm talking. Well, what I mean is like, are you for it or are you against it? Like, are you back into the franchise?
You know, I really am for it. Like I said, you know, like, yeah, I'm red pilling it. You know,
you're Neo in the restroom when Morpheus is like, take the fucking red pill. Look at my hand, go through the mirror. No fucking around. Let's go.
Like after
there's a part. You're gonna love that.
Honestly,
Brian.
like, you know where I am. I am like the past 2 weeks. I am Neo in the bathroom pouring out his fucking pills. Just
oh yeah, just freaking the fuck out,
like,
dude.
what is going on in my life?
You're gonna love it, Brian. You're gonna
yeah.
love it. Now that you've gotten a little taste of us talking about it, you're gonna be like, I
watched
I know what to expect. I'm not going in blind. Not going in blind. Guys, what about you? What did you think of the Matrix Resurrection? Was it everything you expected it to be? Are you red pill or are you blue pill? Do you believe in the cipherism, which is the idea that you understand that there's a simulation, but you would rather stay in it? Or are you ready to get out of it? Are you ready to, I don't want to say jack out because that sounds really fucking really weird. But are you ready to get out of the Matrix? Are you ready to get right back into the franchise? Are you for it? Leave us something in the comments. Hit us up in our DMs and let us know what you thought of the movie. Guys, also, if you have any questions or if you have any answers to our questions that we asked, hit us up. Let us know in the DMs.
Hell yeah.
Message us. We want to hear from you guys. We love to hear from you guys.
Absolutely.
It makes us super happy. Guys, on a side note, I want to thank you. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is going to be our last Friday show before 2022.
Before 2022. Yeah,
what a fucking year for 2021.
Crazy fucking year.
I want to say I hope you guys have a happy holidays.
Likewise.
Know that we love you, to all our extraordinary listeners, that you guys are always in our hearts. We are ecstatic to be here every Friday, and we try our best to make the show exciting and entertaining for you guys all the time. It's not easy. Oh boy, it's not easy, but boy, do we do it, and we love it. Trigger, thank you so much for jumping in on our last show of the year, dude.
Yeah,
on our last show of the year. And not only that, to be able to talk about the fucking Matrix of all things, dude.
Yeah,
who would have seen that coming for 2021, dude? We had all of the crazy shit that happened. We're going into 2022. I hope everybody has a beautiful
technically,
holiday.
Technically, gentlemen, 31st is
Friday.
Is Friday.
Are you coming?
Shit.
Come on.
We're doing a New Year's show.
Are we doing a New Year's?
Yeah, hell yeah.
we might be able to do
We'll make sure we do that shit together, man.
So the cool thing is, let me see, man, because I will.
Yeah, because you'll be working at the club, right? Or at the
not just that, man, but like I move into my place on the 30th. So if I can,
we'll see.
Things, yeah, I'm gonna see what I can do. Maybe I can like hotspot my phone and
maybe a Winter Soldier kind of moment, huh?
Yeah,
may just pop up real cool like today.
Yeah, I might ask if there's room for one more again.
Awesome, brother. Anytime. You know that. Everybody in the comments, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. We love you. We appreciate you. We hope you have an awesome, awesome Christmas. Make sure to leave some milk and cookies, and make sure to leave the Winter Soldier playing for Santa, Captain Santa America. Make sure to tell your friends you love them. Make sure to be safe. We want everybody to enjoy the holidays. To all our extraordinary listeners, we appreciate every one of you. Thank you guys for tuning in here on Friday night, here on the Average Boys Podcast. Live. Love you. And we'll see you guys again next Friday.
Peace.
Wow.